My friends, let's see if I can get this looking a little bit better for you guys. I've been trying to adjust things a little and make it feel a little bit more welcoming. But anyway, how's everybody doing? My name is Andrew Douglas Moon. This is my fragrance channel. Well, I do a lot of things on this channel, but I definitely am very passionate about fragrances, as you can see. So if you're new here, if you're coming through, when I do these streams, we're just hanging out. I love to ask questions, or excuse me, answer questions for you guys if you should have anything. I'm not a professional, so I'm not a perfumer myself, but I do the best I can to give you my answers and my thoughts and opinions about stuff. Just as a little update, I normally don't give thoughts and opinions about fragrances that I have not personally tried. I have a 3 time rule. So normally, unless I have personally tried a fragrance 3 different occasions and tested how well it performs and longevity and so forth, I don't often give my actual thoughts and opinions about it. But with that being said, I just got in a fragrance yesterday that I've been looking forward to getting one of this man's creations, one of this incredible perfumer's creations for a very, very long time. And I'm looking forward to talking about that during this stream. I'm gonna wait till a few more people come through, but I'd love to know what you guys have been wearing recently. I've been wearing a whole lot of Paco Rabanne's 1 Million Elixir lately, as well as kind of taking it back quite often to Dior Sauvage's Parfum. That's been a classic for a very long time. For a long time, I was very deep into the Eau de Parfum, but he recently, something about the original Dior Sauvage Parfum has just been speaking to me and kind of pulling me back in. And I'm very happy about that because I got way too into niche fragrances for a period of time, and I still love them. I have a love for different works of art and creations, but kind of in general, I also want to figure out, why does my lighting keep shifting like that? Let me see if I can find. I used to do this silly little trick right here. Although, as far as I know, it didn't make things go very well. Let me see. We're not a professional thing here. We just hang out and have a good time. I do have, technically, a little light that I can use, but I think I'll use that on. I think I'll look for that later. But yeah, with that being said, I appreciate anybody who stops through here. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day so far. But yeah, if you got any questions about perfumery, about fragrances, please feel free to ask, and I'd love to answer them for you. But today, in particular, I am wearing one of my new favorites that I've ever come across so long as I've been experiencing fragrances, and that is something I can't wait to talk about. But I've also been really loving, I have been really loving the quality of Hawas's new releases, Rasasi's new releases from the Hawas line. I'm not a guy who's really into dupes and cheapies. It's normally something I kind of like steer away from. I know that this is like the most popular thing in the fragrance world, and if you want to be like a much more successful fragrance YouTuber, you should use something along these lines a lot more often. But they're just not really my personal speed. I prefer things that have a lot more depth, a lot more quality of materials, because I can honestly say when you smell fragrances from the cheapest end all the way to the more niche and expensive, sometimes expensive doesn't always mean good. That much is very true. I've had my nose on some very expensive fragrances that kind of fall very flat. And honestly, even certain things are just overall not worth the money because of how much you can get out of it unless you really like it. So something like Silver Oud by Amouage, a very good oud fragrance that I really enjoy myself if you were looking for a real true to the core oud fragrance. But even then, it's not something that you can just wear when you go out walking along the streets. Not just everybody's going to appreciate something like that. It's very pungent and very strong, so it's difficult. Whereas something like Jean Paul Gaultier's Le Beau Le Parfum, or something like even like a compatriot to the Paradise Garden, the Tropical by Hawass, this is something that you would think of is a lot more mass appealing. So if you don't know what that is, obviously it kind of sounds obvious, what seems obvious in the name, but it's something that everybody can enjoy and appreciate. So again, I'm Andrew Douglas Moon. If you guys stop through and you have any fragrance questions, this is a family friendly channel, so I do not tolerate people being hateful to each other, cussing and stuff in the chat, because young people, teenagers come through from time to time and ask fragrance questions, and I want to be respectful to all walks of life, all different types of belief systems, and so forth. So everybody's welcome here, but like I said, just keep it respectful if you drop something in the chat. But you're more than welcome to ask any questions you would like to, not even just about fragrances, but as well about me. Because for quite some time, I've just been building up a community here where we all hang out and talk about this type of stuff, and tell me what you like to wear. So by all means, take a gander here at my collection. This is where I keep, for the most part, dupes and cheapies and things along those lines. I had a lot more than this at one point in time, but honestly, I've been giving these away as a gift because I'm kind of moving away I started to fall down the rabbit hole when I tried to dabble in the TikTok world of getting dupes and cheap and stuff like that. I've even got a whole other shelf up there of that kind of stuff, and start going down that road to answer people's questions because it's kind of what you guys were wanting a lot of, instead of the more like the designer and like higher price point. But just for my own integrity's sake, because I know that an incredible amount of dupes and cheapies are just like not very worth the money, and they kind of get pushed in your face too much. I decided I'm going to back away from that and just keep it real, keep it how I always was, and just take you down the road of like more quality fragrances. I'm not saying there's not good ones that are in a cheaper end, because again, this one really blew my mind as somebody who's becoming very tired of the Hawass line. The Hawass Tropical's really been making me happy, as well Hawass Fire, and they also honestly did a good job with Hawass Elixir. It's not perfect, obviously, neither is Rayhan Elixir, but still pretty good. But in general, I still try to tell people, don't just go throwing all your money away on dupes, because at the end of the day, quality is very important compared to quantity when it comes to fragrances. And just be careful who you're watching. Again, if you've never come back to my channel, that's fine. But if you are out here looking through YouTube's for fragrance information and inspiration, just remember that a lot of people are paid and sponsored to push the more cheaper end fragrances. Sometimes even mid-range YouTube channels are sponsored by stuff like Armani, but it's very rare because they don't really need anybody's help to push their stuff. They can advertise for themselves. But stuff like Latafa, stuff like Hot Lodge, good brands. They're not bad. They do put out some good quality from time to time. But it's not like everything they do is fantastic. And I don't mean in a subjective sense, like, for instance, Zerjoff is my personal favorite company who makes fragrances overall, and yet I don't love everything they make. And yet I can also say that pretty much everything that they put out has good quality to it, and it is perfect for somebody. But when you look at something like the cheaper companies, like again Rasasi, when you look at Latafa and Paris Corner, stuff like that, they're going to have some really good fragrances, and then they're just going to have a lot of garbage as well. So it's just throwing stuff out. Paint by numbers is pretty much what you can think of with these cheaper companies. So again, as I'm just waiting for you guys to ask questions and share your thoughts, tell me what you're wearing today. I'm just kind of discussing my own personal feelings about the fragrance community, sort of why I backed off for a little while and started focusing on the other things I like to do, like religious studies and stuff like that here on this channel during live streams. Kind of backed off a bit of doing as much fragrance content for a while because I started becoming, stupid as this is going to sound, a little bit jaded. Just seeing how much junk is getting filtered out there in this community on YouTube, like bleeding over from the TikTok world. I would like to think that here on YouTube in the fragrance world, there's a little bit more respectability as far as like people maintaining a sense of ethics and caring more about really good quality stuff when they make suggestions to you guys instead of just throwing anything and everything at you. But very recently, even though this is going to sound like I'm throwing shade, I'm just being sincere. Very recently, it has seemed like it's just kind of like pushing whatever again. It really is coming over this way. But again, anybody who takes the time to come through, I appreciate you guys so very much. And please feel free to ask questions if you would like to about anything that you see here. Um, Definitely, I'm not a top 10 type of channel. I don't do that kind of stuff. It's not one of those top 10 or like very enthusiastic top 10 best summer fragrances. I will answer your questions if you'd like to know that, but that's not my style. I like to review individual fragrances at a time, like one of my biggest inspirations to even start doing this. Joshua Ricks, thanks for coming through here. Howdy, buddy. I appreciate you taking the time to stop through. I would love to know if you're wearing any particular fragrance today. I'd also like to know how you're doing. And I appreciate you coming through just to say hey, even if that's all you do. I haven't been able to do some streaming as far as fragrances are concerned for a little while, or at least not much here in the house because we've been having some touch ups. Again, me and my wife moved. We got a new build home, so we've had to have some touch ups done, and it's been a little bit noisy from time to time. And also, we've just been very, very busy with all the family stuff these past couple of weeks. But finally, I'm going to be doing this a lot more often, coming back with you guys. I was really loving the community that we were having for a while there, getting to discuss fragrances and perfumery, and really loving hearing you guys' thoughts. There's a massive list of stuff that people have been sending me to try. So I am going to get to that, but just remember, fragrances are expensive. That's why I do this, to talk with you guys about stuff, but as well, I buy all these myself. So if you send me things that you want me to add to my list to actually smell and do reviews for, it is going to take a little bit of time. Doing great. Got Hypnotizing Fire by a Harmonist. Oh, that's awesome. By the way, Bablu, what's up? I hope I said your name properly. I always try to say people's names and say hello, and I try speak to you directly. But if I ever say anybody's name incorrectly, I don't mean to, and I hope you can forgive me, and I appreciate you for stopping through. So I'm Andrew, by the way, for anybody who's new here. But Hypnotizing Fire by the Harmonist, I actually have not got my hands on that one, and I also don't even know if I've heard of that one just yet. Like somebody sending me that to add to my list. So let me know how that one's going for you. Is it more on the more expensive niche end? Is it somewhere in the medium price point, or would you say that's a little bit on the cheaper side? So again, I don't have my stuff with me to look it up right now, but I'd love to know how the performance is for you in general. So yeah, it sounds really cool though. I like when a fragrance has a good name. Sometimes it can be a little bit disappointing though, because like God of Fire, I don't know how many of you guys know what that is. Probably do, because like the big Hadouki this past year was Vulcan Few, the dupe, the very, I'm going to go ahead and throw this at you, very disappointing dupe of that already not so great fragrance. But God of Fire was one of those ones where the name is fantastic, and I was looking very much forward to it being a like killer fragrance, just like the name would make it sound. And then unfortunately, you get your nose on it and you go, it's okay. But I really like the sound of that Hypnotizing Fire. I'm gonna have to check that out. It's niche, probably on the expensive side, but really good. Okay, cool. I definitely want to add it to my list because, as I was saying before, I talk what sounds like a lot of smack about other channels who I never mention any names, but I don't say it to be like a negative Nancy. It's just me being sincere that um, I don't go after popularity style videos here on this channel. I like to just talk about individual fragrances because I believe there is a ridiculous amount of incredible quality fragrances out there. I was looking it up the other day once again, and in the world at large, there is a registered over, I believe, over 40 to 60,000 registered perfumes that are supposed to be within a certain range of quality. So if you imagine going to see your nearest fragrance store and you see what all they have as far as designers are concerned, and then you Google search and you see like the niches that you can get your, even just like look at on the internet what's popular, there are so many out there that you've never even heard of before. So it excites me to actually look into potentially really good quality fragrances versus what's just like the paint by numbers junk that's getting tossed out there at you. So that's kind of why I talk about that a lot on this channel is I feel that the YouTube fragrance sphere has really been bled into way too much by the TikTok, like here, check out this awesome new thing type of crap. And I don't like that. I like us talking about really good quality stuff. And even if it's not your taste, that's really what I want to encourage here on this channel in the community is that even if something's not for you, we should at least be able to know whether it's a good quality fragrance or not. So that's kind of what my whole thing is. I've got God of Fire. It's really good. I got the Duke Mango Bliss. So I actually have been curious about Mango Bliss because, like I said, not a big fan of Vulcan Few. Also, as well, what is it? The Malachite Scepter Malachite's pretty okay as well, but just not that great of a performer compared to what people want to make it out to be. So I will say this, and again, fragrances are subjective, so it's totally okay. Like for me personally, like you really like it. I'm not the biggest fan of God of Fire because I like a little bit more of like a even though these are different types of fragrances, the compounds are supposed to be in the same family. So I like Herba Pura as more of a really bright, rich, even though people say it's more feminine leaning, more bright, rich summertime mangoey passion fruit fragrance. Something like God of Fire just seems almost a little bit too basic for me compared to the price that it costs. But I do want to know how Mango Bliss is because people have said, as far as I've seen, I was never able to get a bottle of that, but I've seen people say that it's a little bit on the better quality side than Vulcan Few. So, what do you think about Rare Reef? So, I'm very glad you asked that question because, as you see here, before I got Rare Reef, I got Rare Carbon because in my top 10 favorite fragrances of all time is Tom Ford's Ombre Leather Parfum. I like the Eau de Parfum, but Parfum to me is personally quite a bit better. The Rare Carbon version, I know you didn't ask, but I'm just giving you a little background. I got Rare Carbon because just like all dupe companies, Afnan's very much a hit or miss with quality. This one was really nice, like a take on the Eau de Parfum edition of Ombre Leather. So I was like, you know what? This is a good performer. I like it. It's interesting. It's not great. It's not absolutely perfectly spot on, but it's close enough that if you wanted the Eau de Parfum edition of Ombre Leather, Rare Carbon would do it. With that being said, I got Rare Reef the other day, and before I even took the time to even bring it up in front of a review video, I already gave it away as a gift to one of my buddies at work because I knew right away this is not my style. I will say that it is very decent quality for the price point, very similar to Rare Carbon. Rare Reef is actually pretty good for the price that you pay. Honestly, surprisingly decent performance for it being such a fresh fragrance. But then again, it's like got a good strong mint forward notes going on to it. So I would say just to back up, out of 10, what's up, Omar? Super happy to see you here, my buddy. And I'll answer to my buddy Brent BMM, I'll answer you in just a second. But real quick, just backing it up. So Rare Reef, I'll give it probably about a 7 out of 10 overall because it's not the best thing ever. It's definitely not like a very unique fragrance. I know a lot of people want to say it's very inspiring, but people say that same thing about Louis Vuitton fragrances. And I'm just going to throw this out there. Louis Vuitton fragrances, to me personally, this is no offense to anyone, because remember, fragrances are an art form, they are subjective, but Louis Vuittons are just kind of whatever to me personally. They're very overpriced, not the greatest thing in the world, except for stuff like Ombre Nomad. So, not my style, but I appreciate when people enjoy Louis Vuitton. But I'm just going to throw this out there. Rare Reef is very decent, good, actually pretty surprisingly decent performance for what it is, but it's just not my style. So I will say good fragrance, good for a lot of people, but much more youthful. So I'm going to pass it over to say it's probably a 7 to a 7.5 overall. So I liked it. I just wouldn't personally wear it. And also, my wife was not a big fan of it when she got to smell it. She just thought it smelled excessively traditional, basic, like a 1990s fragrance, something like that. Have you tried Jimmy Choo? So I don't own any Jimmy Choo fragrances myself at this point. I have tried most of the more popular ones at the store, but I will say that to me personally, they do not have the world's greatest performance, and they're more lower level, perhaps quality. It's just me personally. Again, it's my personal opinion, but I'm not. I would not want to own one myself as a part of my collection that I would wear on a day-to-day usage. But I think for a youthful person, a more younger person, it's not that bad. Mango Bliss is really good, citrusy, but dries down really nice. The price point is a steal. I think it's maybe $30. Lasts about 7 hours. Okay, cool. If I can get my chance to get a bottle, because like I said, Vulcan Few is not really my style, and the Malachite Scepter. Then again, that note profile is not really for me, anyways. But if I can, I'll definitely check out Mango Bliss. Having a good. Hey Jeffrey, what's up, buddy? I hope you're having a great day too. So to you asking how you build your fragrance collection, that's a good question. So to be real with you, I'm going to go ahead and say this to start with. When it comes to your fragrance collection, please continue to not try your best to do your best not to be influenced by like creators. As a person who's standing here presenting myself as a fragrance content creator, or like I like to do these live streams. There's too many of us out here on TikTok and here on YouTube who are influencing you guys just to buy a bunch of crap because it's the newest thing. You don't need the newest thing. You need whatever's good quality. Again, that's going to be mostly up to you as far as like the scent profiles. Does this fit you or not? But even the materials, we do not want just a bunch of paint by numbers junk just because it's the next big thing from Latafa or something like that. So if you're looking on YouTube channels looking for somebody who's going to shove a bunch of dupes at you, you've come to the wrong place. So no offense to you if that's your thing, but I just want to say this: if you're going to build your collection, I don't know what your full-time job is or your situation is, but I would recommend having a balance between cheaper and higher end niche perfumery, depending on what your taste is. And I would say, um, what do you think of Amouage? I've got plenty of Amouage, and I'll get to that in just a second, my friend. But just to tell you, I would say save yourself as much money as you can at a time. Spend responsibly. Really understand by going to stores and sampling and testing whatever you can. Go to every store you can go to that has like more niche stuff if you can find one, designer. Sample all the different note profiles that you can and really kind of build for yourself what do you like? What is really in your realm that you appreciate for note profiles across the spectrum? Give yourself time to adjust to things and see if there's stuff that you didn't like before, but you've kind of grown on you. Then from there, make yourself a list and just slowly but surely try to save up money and add to it. If you see a couple of cheaper fragrances and you've got a little spare change and you would like to just give them a shot, you know they sound note-wise close to your thing, buy them. But I definitely recommend spending some time instead of buying as many cheap fragrances as you can. Not saying you are, but a lot of people do this nowadays because it's popular to do that. Spend some time saving your money and trying to go dabble and really see what type of really good quality fragrances feel connected to you or sounds like it would be for you, and then build from there. It'll take a long time. It should take a long time to build a good quality fragrance collection. You shouldn't just cram your shelves full overnight, is what I would say. To my buddy asking about city rhythm fragrances, I do not have any. But if anybody has tried any and you would like to tell me if they're good quality or not, I would love to hear about it. Mont Blanc Explorer, best smelling fragrance, period. I personally don't agree, but I'm not the biggest fan of Mont Blanc Explorer. It's a decent take on the Aventus DNA. It's not bad, but I prefer Club de Nuit Intense. Club de Nuit, the Parfum edition, not the exclusive edition, but the pure Parfum edition. So real quick, as far as Amouage is concerned, do I have Rasasi Hawass? I do, and I'll talk about that in just a second. As far as Amouage is concerned, how many do I have? 3, 6, 9, 10. So I've got 10 Amouages right now, and I honestly think that Amouage does a really good job at what they do, making Middle Eastern-esque, like they're from, most of them are based in Oman, so Middle Eastern-esque, beautiful, rich, more orientalish at times fragrance palettes. Not for everybody, I will say that. So like Interlude, for instance, and in the more, what is it, Interlude 53? Yeah, Interlude 53, Black Iris, Rose Incense, Jubilation. These are fragrances that I've honestly fallen in love with over time, but I can definitely say from personal experience, because where I work at, I work around fragrances all day. And then a lot of things like for candle makers and stuff, that's the type of industry that I work in. And I'm surrounded by people who are exposed to all different types of fragrances. And definitely when I wear things like Interlude to work, not everybody's the biggest fan of that. That is for sure. I will say, are you talking about Purpose? So you're talking about the interlude fragrances, or excuse me, the Amouage fragrances, because Purpose is actually fantastic, and so is the more increased oil version. When I was at a place where you can actually sample niche fragrances, and they had most Amouage fragrances there, Purpose blew me away. I haven't got the chance to get it yet because Amouage can be pretty expensive, even off of like dupe sites, not dupe sites, even off of what do you call it? I actually can't remember on the discount sites. If you was to look on a discount site, there is a fair amount of Amouages out there like fragrancenet.com, but they're still pretty expensive. Do I see a Yves Saint Laurent bottom on the top shelf? You do. Well, actually, you they're not in the front, but I will pull one from the back because I do have a YSL back there. It's one of my wife's favorites. But so somebody asked me, my buddy here at BMM asked about Hawas Ice. Just my personal take, but Hawas Ice actually I like a little bit more than the original. Something it's not like that different. Being completely honest, it's almost unnecessary for the most part if you already have the original and you really love that one, because it's only mildly different than the original's version. I like the bottle a little more. I like the white cap, but the smell just as strong. If anybody knows anything about Versace Hawas, these fragrances are very youthful, very synthetic, but also extremely powerful. So if you're looking for like a nice bubblegummy plum fragrance, something like that to wear during the summertime, you definitely get one of these and you can throw it on. But I will say Hawas Ice, I think I like a little bit more than the original because there's just a mild amount more of a maturity to it, but it's still an extremely teenage type of fragrance. That's just me personally. People disagree, but it's not really my style. But I will say I like Ice a little bit better than I like the original. Just throwing it out there. As far as YSL, you may be thinking of something else when you're looking up here. I'm not entirely sure. But I do have the YSL Y Eau de Parfum edition. So this is the only one out of the bunch my wife really went crazy about. And I got to say, I'm a big fan of this. So I don't wear it extremely often, but this is what my wife calls the snuggle smell. Something about when she first smelled this, she thought it smelled like something you would wear when you're snuggling. So my buddy asked about Hamra Kawa. Let me see. A person able to synthesize smell into a reproducible application on streams will be a billionaire. That would be crazy. I've thought about this so many times. What's your favorite gourmand fragrance? I'll answer that in just a second, my friend. By the way, I'm sorry if I like talk really fast and bounce around, but I try to keep up with like everybody who comments. I do my best to keep up with you guys. So real quick, I'm not going to pull them out because it's just frustrating to do that sometimes. But so between all of the Latafa Hamras, I will say that Kawa is my personal favorite. It's just a little bit more like snickerdoodle type of feel. I like it the most. But with that being said, just want to throw this out there again. I've had people ask about the Dukan that came out a couple months ago. You don't need it. If you've already got the original Latafa Hamra, Kawa is not bad to have. They're a little interchangeable. They're still very similar. By the way, I'm sorry the light keeps doing this weird thing. I don't know why my phone keeps adjusting. But so between the two, you can have Kawa and Hamra, the original, because they're similar but still have a distinct enough feel to them that you can kind of interchange them based off of the day. They're very fall, winter fragrances, particularly more fall, especially Kawa. But just throwing it out there. For me personally, though, I will say the new Dukan unnecessary. They added a pimento opening, but it dries down to basically the original Latafa Hamra. So if you already have that, it's not worth spending the extra money. It's literally one of those like cash grab type of things. So I have a lot of summer fragrances, but I need more winter ones. What should I get? Around $20 to $75. All right, I'll get to that real quick. My other buddy here asked about Armaf Club de Nuit. So Club de Nuit, the Parfum edition, the Intense Parfum, my personal favorite of the bunch. It is one of my favorite takes on that um, Aventus DNA. So just throwing it out there. Sillage, also a fantastic take on Silver Mountain Water. So I actually have a lot of respect for Armaf. They make some pretty good, powerful, and decent smelling fragrances for the price point. And I'm not a very big dupe person, so when I say that, it's just my opinion, so just take it with a grain of salt. But I really like that company. With that being said, good winter ones for the price range, I definitely recommend either Sensual Obsessions Eagle Star. They make a fantastic take on what I'm about to show you. But Hod Lodge's Vanilla Dunes. If you need me to spell it, I will. But this is a fantastic take on Out There by Parfums de Marly, as well as, I would say, probably, I'm going to say Coco Morado by French Avenue. Really good, cheaper fragrance. Something along those lines. But let me think about this for a second, because I would also say that Versace Eros Parfum is actually like a really good, could be summertime because of the bergamot citrus notes, but also it's got just enough woodsy and earthy tones to it that it could be really good. I've worn it during the wintertime and people enjoyed it. And I'll say some more here in a little while. And Amouage is crazy. And I try, like I said, I try my best to keep up with you guys, and I appreciate y'all. It's a pretty unusual name even in my country. That's what I'm saying. We met in Germany. Let me make sure I'm not missing anything from you guys. Dion Dior Eau Sauvage Parfum. And my favorite gourmand fragrance. So I'll answer those real quick. I do not own Eau Sauvage. The only ones I've had over time, I've got the original Eau de Toilette. I've got the Parfum edition, which is my personal favorite Sauvage. The new Eau Fort edition, don't like it at all. Now, I know Eau Sauvage is a completely different fragrance. I'm just letting you know I do not have that. So I've got Sauvage Elixir, Parfum, Eau de Toilette. Used to have Eau de Parfum, gave it away because I've fallen deeper in love with the Parfum edition. Just want to throw this out there, by the way. Dior Sauvage is still to this day a fantastic fragrance line. I don't care what anybody says. I'm sick of seeing people say, this one's played out. It's overrated. You know what's overrated? Filling your closet up with a bunch of stupid dupes that are going to go out of style and aren't really worth all that money that you spent. So just throwing it out there. Dior Sauvage is fantastic. What's your recent pickups? I can't wait to talk about that. So real fast, just throwing this out there. My favorite gourmand. Hmm. I'm going to say, because I consider this a gourmand, I'm going to say Grand Soir by, oh, whoopsie, that made a horrible decision. Maison Francis Kirkjohn. If you don't see it that way, I'm also going to go towards Sauvage Elixir. That's just me personally. I really love those so very much, but I'm going to go with Grand Soir. That's me personally. Recent pickups, though. This is something I've been very, very excited to talk about. This is what I just got yesterday. Are candles like perfumes? Was it legal to recreate scents but illegal to sell them? I'm not sure what you mean by that, but I will throw this out there. So the company that I work for, we are a candle maker supply company. So not just for like literally huge companies. The candle I work for, I don't own the company. I just work for them. I love the company. It's called Candle Science. Um, we supply all of our hundreds of our own lab made fragrance notes for people to blend or use straight up to make candles, waxes, wicks, jars, everything people need for candle makers, for professional companies. We are a supplier for that. So people can recreate whatever they want. When it comes to candles, you can basically make any scent profile you want because they've been overdone 1,000 times. So there's not really an illegality to doing it unless you directly named something as a copy of something that already exists and is copyrighted. My thoughts about JPG Elixir. One of my favorite fragrances of all time. I've got the Elixir and the Absolute. Don't need the Absolute. It's unnecessary unless you just really like that plum note, but it's a little more youthful. I prefer the original JPG Elixir and then the La Mer Le Parfum. Just throwing it out there. And also, Burberry Touch is nice, but it's not my style, so I wouldn't own it. Morning, coughing it up. Heck yeah, that's awesome, buddy. So recent pickups. I've been waiting to talk about this because I've wanted to get something by that. He'll probably never talk to me, probably ever, and that's okay. I would love to talk to this man, but we live way across from each other, across the ocean. But I don't care what you guys say about this dude. One of my biggest inspirations to start doing fragrance reviews. One of the reasons why I don't do top 10 best fragrances. I've done a few of those, but they're stupid to me. Every fragrance channel is doing that bull crap because it's popular. It's popular to talk about what's the top 10 best fragrances. I don't care. I want to talk about each perfume individually and give my thoughts. If you don't like that, there's a million other channels for you to go check out where they talk about the same old junk all the time. But my biggest inspiration to start doing this, because I already love perfumery since I was a child, but I didn't even know you could do reviews. And I saw a lot of people just pushing bullcrap on you guys. Was Mr. Aaron Terrence Hughes. If you know who he is, awesome. If you guys don't like him, that's your opinion, and I respect that. I'm not here to ever argue with people or debate. This is a place where we have a respectful community. But Aaron Terrence Hughes was my biggest inspiration to start doing reviews from like a less professional end. And I just want to throw that. People struggle with his name. And by the way, I'm going to adjust this real quick, maybe make it a little bit better. This will help from the lighting getting screwed up over and over again. But well, in the food industry, I'll answer that in just a second, my friend. And also, that's a very funny. I don't know if you're trying to be funny and make a joke, but a spice bomb not being allowed on planes is a joke I wouldn't have personally made on camera, at least. But I think that's very funny if you're making a joke. Otherwise, yeah, it's a very strong fragrance, so I wouldn't wear Sauvage on a thing either. But I might do a spoof video like that. But I got because his stuff is mostly not able to get to America until very recently. Max Aroma started doing shipments again for him. I finally got my very first ever Aaron Terrence Hughes fragrance, and I am losing my mind because I'm not saying this. I'm going to do a full review of it. I got a couple more of his stuff actually coming, but oh wow, I did not know that. Wow, dang, I thought it was a joke, but that's crazy. I didn't know it was banned from being on planes. But I finally got Athena by Aaron Terrence Hughes because if you're new to the channel, I'm just going to throw this out there. First of all, thank you for being here. My name is Andrew, and I appreciate you stopping in. But I just want to throw this out there. Rose is one of my absolute favorite notes in all of perfumery. I love rose and floral fragrances. The reason is because my wife, she has been working with flowers since long before we met. And also, hold on real quick, you guys. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to make sure that it's decently adjusted enough. But anyway, rose notes in perfumery is one of my absolute favorite things in all of fragrances because something about it just speaks to me. And my wife, like I said, has been working with flowers ever since long before we met, and she loves nature, and it just makes me think of her. But Aaron Terrence Hughes also uses a lot of rose absolute in his fragrances. And I finally got my hands on Athena, and this is something I've been so excited to smell. And I can honestly say, out of all the rose fragrances that I have, I'm not saying this because he was a big inspiration for me to do YouTube. I'm not saying this because I look up to the guy as a perfumer. I sincerely love what he made here. It is powerful. It has incredible performance, as I would have expected from him. He's all about performance. But even more so, the notes. So I've had a lot of rose fragrances. And some of them are well enough done with complexity. Some of them are straightforward, like Rose is Greedy by Mancera. I really love that. So I gotta say that at the end of the day, you don't expect too much out of something that's not trying to be complex. But this holds rose with raspberry, with jasmine, with sandalwood, with vanilla compounds. And honestly, it's incredible. I didn't get the Athena Plus, but this one is just the original Athena. And it is one of my favorite things that I've ever smelled, and I can honestly say that. So I got this very recently, very powerful. It's only $50 too off of Max Aroma, so I ain't sponsored. Nobody's sending me this crap. I'm just saying it meant a lot to me to finally get to smell some of his work, and I try to tell myself, no matter what, I'm going to be sincere. If I don't like it, I don't like it. So being able to finally smell this brought me an incredible amount of joy. Mega Mare, definitely awesome. What's your all-time no-brainer everyday cologne? So for me personally, that's going to be Xerjoff's Naxos. That is my absolute favorite fragrance. Otherwise than that, I would go towards 40 Knots or Maison Francis's Oud Silk Mood, the Extrait de Parfum. But I would definitely say for me, it always ranges between Xerjoff's Naxos to also like Eros Parfum. Just good every day. Throw it on, wear it, don't even have to think about it. So I had an original Aaron Terrence Oud, a style of minimalistic bottle. It's one of the strongest fragrances I own. It's not an easy wear, but I respect it. Yeah, that's the thing. Oud fragrances are very difficult to actually wear. So like I said, Oud Silk Mood by Maison Francis Kurkdjian is one of my favorites of all times. Um, I'm going to go. I hope you have a great day too, buddy. You're welcome here anytime. I appreciate you so much for taking the time to stop through. Like, again, I just give you guys my opinions. I'm not a professional, and I just love fragrances and stuff. And if you do too, you're always welcome here to talk as long as you're being respectful to other people and to each other. So, do you ever layer scents? I just want to make sure that I didn't miss anything. Best version of B Club de Nuit Intense, the Creed dupe. Uh, Club de Nuit Intense. So for me personally, that's going to be the Parfum. But Club de Nuit Sillage is fantastic as well. There's one other one. So I actually really like Woman Club de Nuit Intense Woman's Edition. It honestly it doesn't smell like a woman's fragrance. It's almost like I believe a lot of people say it's like Noir de Noir. I'm very bad at saying that by Tom Ford, but this is actually like a ridiculously powerful fragrance. And when I got my hands on this, I love the way the notes sounded. As you know, like I said, I love florals. I love rose. I don't give a crap when anybody says, oh, that's girly. No, it isn't. It's fantastic. This is actually a very masculine scent, even though it's Club de Nuit Intense Woman. This is probably up there next to Club de Nuit Intense Pure Parfum. This is up there next to one of my favorites of theirs. But Sillage is fantastic. But I would say either Club de Nuit Intense Woman or definitely the Club de Nuit Intense Parfum Edition is my favorite. As far as do I personally layer fragrances? Not really. As far as the food industry goes, I would say you don't want something very crazy. If you're going to be working around food, you definitely don't want to like, because a big part of, especially depending on what you mean. Like if you work in a pub, it's not as serious, but if you are like an actual chef, But even if you are like a line cook, you want to be able to smell, because it does play a part of the process of being able to make sure the things that you have, especially if you are in the process of tasting and sampling things to make sure that it's going out properly. It is very important that you have a not ruined sense of smell during that. So I would say probably, this is just me throwing my ideas. I can't give you a professional thought about this. It's just me giving you my ideas. But probably something on the lighter end. Maybe, hmm, that's a tough one because I think maybe something like Dolce and Gabbana light blue. That's not going to fit atmospherically for everyone, but it's light enough to work. It's light enough to get the job done. And so something like Dolce and Gabbana light blue might not be a bad choice, as well as honestly Layton. Parfums de Marley Layton is nice. It's regal. And yet, even though it comes from a more niche company, I'll say that in quotations, the formulations are not absolutely powerful, especially these days. So it will last most of the day, but it doesn't bleed off of you the way that perhaps it used to. So I'd say that's probably not a bad choice because if you do go out and walk amongst customers, it could be respected while not necessarily ruining your scent profiles. But no matter what you do, I would say make sure you spray on the outer rims and on the back of the neck, not directly in the chest if you're going to do your shirt, which I do shoulders. I learned that not very long ago. I used to do the center of the chest, but a friend of mine was teaching me do it on the shoulders because that way it doesn't come up and cause nose blindness as much. But also it doesn't mess with your palate if you need to be able to smell other things while you can still smell yourself if you turn. Very much so. So I would definitely say probably Leighton, and as well something more relaxed. So definitely Dolce and Gabbana Light Blue is a very relaxed fragrance. That's just my personal opinion. So curious. So strongest perfume that I have. I'm always going to tell people. I mean, some people are unhappy about this because it's so basic, but definitely Baccarat Rouge 540, the Extrait de Parfum is the most expensive one that I own, bar none, due to what you pay for the volume of how much you get. This is the Extrait de Parfum edition of the Baccarat Rouge, and I will say 100%. This is the strongest that I have. Also, as well, this is the most radiant that I have, along with like Sauvage Elixir. And let me think. There's a couple of other ones that are very, very big time powerhouses. Probably Initio Side Effect as well, and Jean Paul Gaultier's La Mer Elixir. Very, very strong fragrance, but this one's also very, very expensive. I usually layer Baccarat 540 with God of Fire. I've never done that. I bet that is a very interesting fragrance profile. I will say this company, Boadicea Victorious, they make some of the most expensive fragrances I've ever seen. So if you look at them up, there's a blue fragrance. I can't remember the name of it. The scent profile is not blue. It's just like a bluish looking fragrance in the bottle. But even on discount sites, it was like $600 or $700 for 100 ml. And when I saw that, I was like, what? This is incredible though. It reminds me a lot of Noir de Noir, but even better. And also the what was that? There was a new cheap fragrance that was similar in vein to this, but I'll show you guys in a little bit. But yeah, this you subscribe. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm never when I do these channels, well, excuse me, when I do these streams, I don't really expect anybody to subscribe because I just like to hang out. And I know these days, it's kind of give or take what kind of stuff people are into. I just love fragrances, and I like hanging out with y'all and telling you and talking back and forth. That's what makes me excited about this stuff. With that being said, your favorite rose fragrance, if you have any. I would love to talk about that because, as I said earlier, but you weren't here, so that's okay. Rose is one of my favorite notes in all of perfumery. I'm gonna take you through every rose fragrance that I have, but I will tell you my favorites. But I appreciate you guys when you stop through here. Blue Sapphire, that's it. That is extremely expensive. I have not tried Coach Green Drip and Sniff. Awesome name, by the way. But thank you for coming through and asking. As well, since this is not just about me, but on this channel, if you come through the fragrance streams, if you guys see somebody comment something and you have had experience with it and I haven't, please feel free, as long as you're being respectful, to give your thoughts and opinions about something, or tell me what you think. So, because it might inspire me to get it too. But I have never tried Coach Green myself personally. So, but thank you for coming through and asking. But yeah, Blue Sapphire, ridiculously expensive. When I was looking on all of the discount sites, it was still like $600 or $700, and I was like, I want to know what that smells like. But a reviewer that I watched checked it out and said that it was far from worth the money. But they are a good company. Terre d'Hermes is a fantastic, fantastic fragrance. It's a classic, Hermes in general, classic fragrance. I have a lot of love for it. Real quick though, before I talk more about that, because there's a version of that I'm going to pick up soon that I don't have yet. I'm going to run through you real quick to my buddy who asked about my favorite rose fragrances. So again, rose is one of my absolute favorite compounds, one of my favorite notes for fragrances. Real quick also, I have a couple of skin diseases. That's a bad word. I have a couple of skin disorders. So I have dermatitis. I have some other thing I can't pronounce, but it's really bad for my skin. It's not psoriasis, but I have just a lot of yeast problems with my skin. So I use Rose Absolute. Like I just ordered Rose Absolute. You can get that off of Amazon, stuff like that. And just put it on your skin instead of lotions. Turns out it actually works pretty dang good with like breaking down stuff and causing like dryness to go away. With that being said, do a cheap episode. That'd be an interesting list of 10 affordable ones under $30. Are you talking about me? Like I should do that? And my favorite JPG is a tie between the Elixir and then Le Mal Le Parfum. Underneath that would be Le Beau Le Parfum. So yeah, and then it goes down in order. Touchscreen's phenomenal. I have to check that out. But yeah, just to go through here real quick. My current absolute favorite rose fragrances, like rose infused fragrances, is going to be these guys right here. Cheap side, Rose is Greedy, definitely by Mancera. It's just like a beautiful, it's not pure to the rose, but it's very, very nice. Floral, rosy like fragrance. Very girly, but then again, I love that kind of stuff. I don't know what it is, but like I said, it makes me think about my wife. So I really love this kind of stuff. But Rose is Greedy is fantastic if you want just like really strong, in your face floral scent. But like I said, Aaron Terrence Hughes' Athena is next level. I just got it the other day. I've always wanted one of his things, and I love this. Yep, be a challenge. All right. I guess I might could do that. Roja perfume is also very expensive. You're absolutely correct. That's why I do not have any Roja perfumes. They cost so much, and sometimes I see price ranges and I just think I could never justify doing it myself. Just like again, I love Aaron Terrence Hughes, but this was $50, so I was able to do this. Whereas a lot of his perfumery, especially in U.S. dollars, is in like the $480 range. $480 range. I was like, well, I'm not doing that. So even if I could, I wouldn't do it. But with that being said, Athena, one of my absolute favorite rose fragrances now by Aaron Terrence Hughes. Roses Greedy, also Roses Vanille. And then as well, it has a rose quality to it. Ardent by Bodicea Victorious. Absolutely fantastic. And then I like this one, but it's not for everybody. It's Rose Incense. It's a little bit more dense. It's a little bit more earthy and masculine. If you're looking for a really good masculine rose fragrance, Rose Incense is going to cover that for you. Very almost in a way aquatic to me. It's just to me, but there's like if you ever get a chance to smell it, you might know what I'm talking about. If you're looking for something very, very cheap, even cheaper than Roses Greedy by Mancera, this actually ain't bad. This reminds me an awful lot, in a way, of Athena by Aaron Terrence Hughes, but it's different. This is Rose Couture by Hadlage, the same people who made Hadlage Island, Vanilla Dunes, stuff like that. It is a very strong fragrance, and it is very, it's got little fruity qualities to it. Now, I'm also going to take you on the other end of things. So, I really liked Portrait of a Lady by Frederick Malle, but it's not my thing. Or Frederick Malle's Portrait of a Lady, not my thing though. In particular, like I really liked it. I want you to learn as we do this channel that we can appreciate things even if it's not for you. And so, Portrait of a Lady is something I really enjoyed. But this bad boy has a more denser masculine oud quality to it with those raspberry notes and so forth, those berry notes. This is Unique Portrait by Paris Corner. So like I said, I'm not a very big dupe cheapy person very often, but I will say when there's a good one, I appreciate it and I give a lot of respect to it. And this is a strong, strong fragrance for I believe about $20. There's like 3 versions of this, and the Unique Portrait edition is fantastic. So you got Portrait on my hand right now. That's funny. I sprayed it on my hand earlier today too. So I'm wearing Athena by Aaron Terrence Hughes, but let me see if I can freaking. I'm sorry, you guys, that the camera keeps looking. It's never really done this to me before, but something about it keeps going screwy. But either way, thank you guys so much for taking the time to stop through here. By the way, I really appreciate you a lot more than you probably know. Okay, so that is not helping. I don't know what is happening, but I'm sorry, you guys, for everything kind of going funky over and over again. Maybe let me see if this helps. It probably won't, but I'm gonna at least see if it helps. I think the main issue is with cheaper fragrances, they don't last as long. Yeah, you're correct. So a lot of times with cheaper fragrances, that is the biggest issue that you go through is that they end up burning out quickly. The scent profiles don't last because the materials are lower quality. To be honest with you, in life, there's a lot of things that I would say just go for the cheaper stuff. Me personally, right? I don't go dirt cheap. I used to only get all my clothes at Walmart. Nothing wrong with that. Walmart makes a lot of good stuff, especially when you wear plain shirts like I do. But I started shopping mostly at Hollister because they're like $20 a shirt. That's still expensive to me personally, but it's not as bad as a lot of companies are like $60 a freaking t-shirt, which is stupid. Just even if I was rich, I wouldn't want to do that. But with clothes, most of the time, the more money you spend, it's kind of something that can get ruined by dropping food on it. It can get whatever ripped, torn. I don't recommend getting expensive clothes unless you just seriously got a lot of money and you can just toss them away. With fragrances, on the other hand, there are really good cheap fragrances, but by and large, I would really recommend most people go saving your money and getting stuff that's on a higher price point because the quality really is there depending on what you get. Not everything's good, but like Mind Games makes fantastic, powerful, gorgeous fragrance perfumery, very unique. Their job, immaculate. Definitely to this day, Parfums de Marly still knocks them out the park. Rapid Reaper got a new PS5. You did? I didn't even realize there was a new PS5. Light is the worst. I thought it was fine before. Oh, okay. Well, thank you for letting me know, Hugster. If you were rich, you'd be sleeping in Gucci robe. No, you wouldn't. By the way, if anybody ever sees Jess Cavalovia, that's her old last name, but that's my wife on her little personal YouTube account. She comes through and she'll comment sometimes and watch my videos to show me support while she's in the other room working on her business projects and stuff like that. So, but yeah, if you ever see her in there, everybody, please feel free to say hi. Like I said, be respectful to each other, but you're always welcome to like talk with one another here in the chats, and thank you. I think in fragrances, you get what you pay for. You're correct. So it's not always like that. You are going to run into situations where you pay good money for stuff that ends up being kind of a flop. Like I said, some companies get bought out. So Tom Ford, this happened to Tom Ford. Some companies get bought out by bigger companies like generic ownership companies, and they will re-evaluate their formulas, and sometimes they will switch out chemicals or the amount of materials and compounds that used to make something very incredible, very strong, very long lasting. As Jeremy Fragrance always says, strong, long lasting. But seriously, sometimes they'll do that, and then the fragrance becomes less performative. So again, Parfums de Marly. Or even more noticeable, Dior Homme Intense used to be a lot more powerful, used to be a little bit more nuanced, and now the fragrance is a little more boring. Still great. Don't get me wrong, still great, but just not quite what it used to be. Not quite there as far as the same performance quality as it used to have. And yet, still something I would recommend for people. Have you tried Double Attack by Mind Games? So, I actually did get the chance to smell that when I went. I sampled everything from Mind Games when I went to La Parfumerie. I don't remember them all, but I will say that one. And there's also this other one. I'm trying to remember what it was called, but it was like a. I don't like chocolate fragrances a lot. I'm gonna say something, and it's gonna sound a little strange to you guys. So, by the way, what's up, King Sword? Super happy to see you here, my friend. I appreciate getting to see you popping through here. It makes me very, very happy. But throwing this out there real quick. Chocolate and fragrances sometimes smells like, again, I'm about to say something that is not for everybody, so please plug your ears if you don't want to hear it. But chocolate and fragrances, just like the ones that we have that's like very raw chocolate oriented at my job, can smell like when somebody um, doesn't have the cleanest tushy and has been sweaty. It sounds gross. I'm not sorry. I'm being sincere. Sometimes chocolate and fragrances can smell, or like pure chocolate oils and stuff can have this reminiscent scent of like not very well maintained tuchus that has been sweaty and is now radiating just a little smidge. And you're like, that's not good. I don't like that. You should go take a shower. So, with that being said, I know nobody asked, but that is my thoughts. Flipping that over, there was a Mind Games fragrance that has a chocolate note, and I thought, I love this. This was done in a way that has a more creamy feel to it. It's less in your face, rich, more cacao scent, and more just creamy, good chocolate scent, and I loved it. It went crazy. My wife went super bonkers about it. Actually, you know what? That's something I would like to do. The sample pack is actually also ridiculously affordable. It's like $75 for like 10 or 15 fragrances. I can't remember how many. But I know that sounds expensive to some of you guys because they're only the little sample bottles. But being real, a company that charges $360 or $400 a bottle, if you can get a whole bunch of the samples for a little price range, it's not bad. Even like I said, Aaron Terrence Hughes being one of my favorite perfumers, he's done it plenty of times. If you want to, you know what? So somebody asked me earlier about building a collection, and also I've been asked before for people who want to get into doing fragrance reviews. First and foremost, don't expect a lot of views if you're not going to be like all like TikTok sensational. If you're just going to be very sincere, just to understand now, not a lot of people are going to watch you, but that's okay because if you're passionate about it, be yourself. Second piece of advice: get little travel sample bottles. Do that because whether you go on somewhere like Fragrance Net and you get these little guys, which actually gives you quite a decent amount of fragrances to keep with you, or if you get those little bitty, like if you was to go to Saks Fifth Avenue or Nordstrom, and you get them to make you the little teeny little, just like, like 10, 15 spray little sample thingies. You can do those and make all the review videos you want before you can start to afford like saving up money to have other stuff. So just throwing it out there. If you want to start making videos, mostly just try to focus on being yourself. That's all I'll say. Quality and all that stuff can come afterwards. Focus on being yourself and just getting little sample things. There's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to have the full bottles or whatever. I like sprays for days, great samples. I have not tried any of that, like sprays for days samples. Notate your favorites when you do and keep us updated. Oh, yeah, okay. Sooner or later, we're going to get. Who are you talking to, Huggy? You talking to me? But, yes. But yeah, just throwing it out there. 100%. I love mind games. I love Zerjoff. There's like a bunch of newer Zerjoff stuff that I've seen getting dropped recently. Oh, okay. Thank you for letting me know. But yeah, I seriously do. I appreciate you guys. I'm gonna keep going for a while because I have the time to do so. But I really appreciate every last one of you guys who comes through here and asks questions about fragrances because perfumery, next to other things like religious studies and history and stuff, are some of my favorite things in the entire universe. So it means a lot to me when I get to hang out with you guys and talk about hear what your favorite things are and tell you what my favorite things are. But there is so much exciting perfumery out there, and I love going to those niche stores and getting to see what's new. I will throw this out there. You just thank you, buddy. I appreciate that. Like I said, if you are ever willing to check out my stuff, I do a mixed bag of things here. It always used to be and is going to get back to being primarily about fragrances because this is my first like big passion that I started sharing on here. But because I can, because it's my channel and I do a lot of different stuff. I just share all my passions here. I also have a long history of doing religious studies, so I started teaching things about historical religions and traditions and stuff because, again, I know it has nothing to do with perfumery, but it's something I'm very passionate about, and I like hanging out with everybody and talking about that kind of stuff and teaching those things. So if anybody's ever interested in that, you're welcome to join those streams as well and go check out any of my commentary videos on that stuff. But if you're only interested in fragrances and stuff like that, it's okay. You can watch that stuff too. I know a lot of people's like, make two channels. Why don't you make two channels? I don't really care. I just like to do it all in one place. Because again, we're not looking to get big and rich here. We're just looking to have a good time and be ourselves. So I welcome you guys to do the same. And anybody who sticks around and subscribes here, that's what you're going to get from me as well. So I wish I could heart react. Oh, but yeah, thank you so much for subscribing. It means a lot to me. And, you don't have to do that. Anybody who ever watches here, you don't have to, but I appreciate you when you do. If you have to pick one among Versace Eros EDP, Valentino, Born in Roma Intense, Dolce & Gabbana like Blue Intense, ooh. That is an incredible, incredible question, Steve. I like when people ask me questions like that. It put me in a little bit of a pickle. Because, no, you know what? I know what I'm going to go with. I love Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue O Intense. I think it's one of the greatest summer fragrances ever made. It's not for everybody. Somebody commented on my review the other day and said it smells like bug spray to them. That's fine, but I love it. But honestly, and by the way, I love it when you guys toss out these like really in-depth questions if you really want to know my thoughts. But I'm going to go with Versace Eros Eau de Parfum. Versace Eros Parfum is my favorite, but Eros Eau de Parfum is to the core. Like so, Born in Roma Intense to me by Valentino. I mostly only really like Valentino's Coral Fantasy and Green Extravaganza, men and women's. Um, and like the newest one that just came out, the Extra Dose, it's okay. But to be honest with you, that version smells just a little too immature for me. This one, although it is, well, no, this isn't Eau de Parfum. This is the Valentino's, not Born in Roma. This is Valentino's Uomo, but this is not the Born in Roma edition. This actually smells really incredible. It's like barbershop-y, sugar powdered donuts type of scent. I did a review on this a long time ago before we moved, and this one, not a lot of people I see get this one because it's a lot more earthy and classic and very Italian, very very Italian fragrant. But out of the Valentinos, this is one of my absolute favorites next to Coral Fantasy. So you'll notice the difference because instead of having pink right here, this isn't Eau de Parfum, but it's all black. So not Born in Roma Uomo, but the Valentino Uomo original Intense. Look for that. But with that being said, the reason I'm picking Eros EDP is because for me, It is the most mass appealing of the bunch while also maintaining a sense of integrity. It is very distinct. Versace did something immaculate. Italian perfumery blows my mind. I like French perfumery, but I will throw this out there that the Italians really knock it out of the park when they do something special. So I think that Versace Eros Eau de Parfum would be my choice because out of the whole bunch, it just has the most mass appeal, also being the strongest and the most unique to me of the bunch when it comes to all categories. So that would be my choice. Rocking Roja Ocean. That's awesome. I actually do not even remember what it smells like at this point. It has been quite a while since I've had an opportunity to get a whiff of that bad boy, but I do know that that is supposed to be a really good fragrance, but also very expensive, correct? I'm pretty sure that it is. Well, it's a fruity fragrance that's very strong and long lasting. Oh no! Oh, my mind immediately went to Herba Pura. Oh, you got me there. Okay, so I'm gonna have to think about that for a second. A fruity fragrance that's long lasting. By the way, you're welcome, Siva. Thank you for asking the question. Geez, you really got me in a pickle there. Fruity, strong, long lasting, and not Herba Pura or Herba Gold. Um, well, just to be a cheater, I would say Hawas or Nitro Red by Dumont because those are fruity and very strong. Like they last all day. You could scrub yourself with a freaking Brillo pad and it's not going anywhere. But if I was to branch out from there, some things have fruity qualities to me that maybe not everybody would agree with. Let me see about this. Mm, well, it's floral. It's more like a fruity floral, but I would say Paragon. Paragon by Initio, I would say is a very, very strong fruity floral thing. It's not truly cooler because I don't have too many fragrances that are just straight up fruit, other than the Herba Pura and so forth. But I would say, you know what? I mean, this kind of counts. It's bright and citrus. I'm going to go Club de Nuit Intense Parfum. It ain't the type of fruity that you're looking for. I know that you mean something that's like really to the core fruity, but this is what I'm going to throw out there. I'm not sure about the longevity, but that one's fruity leaning. Oh, I love Nitro Red. Perfect gym fragrance. You're correct. It isn't my favorite gym fragrance, but I will say, actually, here recently, I've been trying to be a little sneaky turd. So I've been wearing very floral fragrances when I go to the gym because the gym that I go to, for some strange reason, even though in my life in the past, based off of how I look, I've had a lot of people try to stay away from me because they think that I might be a criminal or something. I don't know. No, just throwing that out there. But I have walked past a handful of people who pulled their children back. But at my gym that we go to, me and my wife, for some strange reason, even though there's like 30 treadmills wide open as far as the eye can see, people just decide they're going to get right next to me, which is fine. But ever since like early COVID days, I kind of got adjusted. I'm a little prissy bear, and I got adjusted to having gaps between me and the people next to me. And I know that sounds very entitled, and it is. I own that. But I got used to that, and I liked it. So lately, though, I've been thinking I'm going to throw people off a little bit since, there's always people around, so who's going to know? So I've been wearing like very, very floral fragrances to the gym just to see if people know that's me. And it's worked. I know it sounds very stupid and petty, but it's just fun for me in my stupid mind. But I've seen people ask other people around, hey, are you wearing something? And they're like, no. Or even more so, they say, yes, they are. And they tell them what they're wearing. And they're like, oh, okay, cool. And I know the whole time they're talking about me, but they don't expect this beautiful floral scent to be coming off of me. So very stupid, very petty. I know that was a waste of most of you guys' time to explain that, but it is what I've been doing recently with my life when I've had the chance to do so. But sometimes we have dumb story times here, so it is what it is. Throwing this out there though, I haven't worn Nitro Red in a while, and I'm going to throw this out there to you guys. This is drastically better than Hawas. If you're looking for something that's very, very cheap, bright and fruity, but somehow still maintains a sense of integrity that can be mature. Also, did not expect to like this because it's got a watermelon note to it. And I hate watermelon flavored things and stuff like that because usually there's this cheapness that just feels like gross and not realistic. I love real watermelons, but watermelon flavored things a lot of times and scented things don't really make you feel like real watermelon. This, on the other hand, I really like this. I actually enjoy Nitro Red. It's a fantastic choice, and I would say it's a good gym fragrance. But don't overdo it because it's very strong as well. That's funny. Heading off. Hey, I hope you have a great day, Brandon. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. And all you guys, if you ever got to go, please, actually do let me know. If any of you guys are ever coming through here and you hang out for a while and you have to leave for the day, I appreciate if you let me know when you're leaving. Not because you owe it to me, but because I want to say goodbye. It means a lot to me if you stop through and take a time to watch my streams. It means a lot to me if you come through and talk with me and ask questions. So out of just love and respect for you as a person, I always appreciate it if you guys take the time to say goodbye. God of Fire is also one that I absolutely love, but for some reason it doesn't last too long on the skin, unfortunately. That's why I'm looking for other fruity fragrances. Yeah, see, that's my problem with God of Fire. That's why I don't own it, because it's too expensive for what it's worth. That's why I don't care for Vulcan Few or any of the other dupes for it, because it was very, very hyped. I will say, the real God of Fire does have a nice enough fragrant profile. It's not my taste though, but I can see why people would love it. But the price of it's really hard because for something that costs that much, it should perform better. That's just the end of the story. If you're going to spend that much money on something, so for instance, like I said, if you was to order a bottle of Aaron Terrence Hughes' Athena, all right, this is rose, raspberry, sandalwood. If you was to get this, right, this is a $50 bottle from what I've seen on Max Aroma. $50, okay, being shipped from the original to UK, then to America, to wherever you live. And this lasts an incredible amount of performance. I have tried this. I absolutely love this, and it is a good performer. Versace Eros, whether you get the Eau de Parfum, even the original Eau de Toilette, or the Parfum Edition, all day performance for the price that you pay. But if you go spend the hundreds and hundreds of dollars on something like God of Fire, it should last all day. If cheaper fragrances, sometimes even less natural qualities, can do so. So when you see something like that, it just makes me sad when you see something that has an awesome name, awesome packaging, and it doesn't perform the way it should. It should be a monster. It should really be taking the cake, and it doesn't. So I go on these little tangents. I apologize sometimes if I drive you guys crazy, but I share my thoughts. That's what we do here. And you guys are welcome to do the same thing in the comments. Vulcan one is better, I heard. It's definitely better than the original in the sense that the price is much better and it's close enough. But again, performance of Vulcan Few is still trash, just like the original in and of itself. Would you say Versace Eros EDP is a blind buy safe? I'm going to go ahead and throw this out there. Here on this channel, like I said, nobody sponsors me. I pay for all this. This comes from like me and my wife's bank account. So just throwing that there out of like a passion for fragrances and hard work. So just throwing that out there. But so when I tell you my opinions, I'm being sincere and I'm telling you from my heart. But I don't really encourage blind buying if you can help it. If you can possibly get a sample of something, which a lot of websites offer for a good price, if you can try something, I encourage people to do that. Because again, it's your hard-earned money, and too many creators are pushing on you to just buy junk because they get sponsored or paid for it. So I'm not hating on any individual person, but I am saying please don't be influenced by influencers that much when it comes to a lot of money, your hard-earned money. With that being said, with all that disclaimer, Versace Eros EDP and Parfum, to me personally, is a very good mass appealing, very strong fragrance. If you like woodsy citrus, woodsy tea like bergamot, then yes, I would say it's a good blind buy. But most of the time, depending on where you live, there's a place you can go to, like a Sephora, an Ulta, somewhere where you can try it out. So please do that before you buy. Andrew, you tried Amouage Beach Hut, man. I have not, actually. Amouage Beach Hut is one of those fragrances that I've never got my hands on. So just throwing it out there. That's one of those fragrances I've not got to try just yet. I love Amouage, and I really want to try Beach Hut. I also really want to try, oh man, what's the one that's red that people say smells like rosy shower gel, bubble bath? I really want to get my hands on that one too, but there's a red bottle. Lyric. I really want to try Lyric, man. Well, what's a good sandalwood citrus blend? Ooh, that's a good that's a good one. I'm gonna get right back to you for that. A good sandalwood citrus blend. No, I'm gonna go straight up to you now. Hold on, I will come back to that. Thank you, Spiritual Weapon. I appreciate you stopping through, buddy. God bless you too. Yes, this is definitely quite a bit of effort and collection put in here, but I'm a huge fan of fragrances, and this is what I started out doing on this channel before doing the religious studies. But for real, Blind Buy really got me with Montel Wood and spices that smell like a very clean bathroom. Yeah, always get samples if you can. And also, thank you, Silver, for asking questions. I'm sorry if I get too long-winded. Well, I guess I'm not going to apologize for stuff that's just me being me, but I understand if it's not for you guys to come through here and stick around too much because I do talk in depth. It's just how I operate. I'm not unique or special or nothing. It's just the way that I personally think and talk. Is if you ask a question, I like to give you my most in-depth answer I can with the time that I have and keeping up with each person. So I appreciate you guys. But yeah, so just I think I like it and I love it when you guys are actually stick around and ask questions and I get to talk with you. With that being said, a good sandalwood citrus blend. that is a little bit, now that I'm thinking about it, I was thinking about certain things like Stronger With You sandalwood, which is fantastic, but I can't remember at this point off the top of my head if it has a little citrus to it. But I do know that like Stronger With You parfum is not that bad. Oh my God. I can't believe I forgot. You know what? You want one of the greatest of all? It's not like a citrus blend like lemon, but more in the earthy, mildly bergamot type of feel. Mostly aquatic, mostly luxurious. But if you want one of my favorite sandalwood forward fragrances of all time, Timothy Chalamet all day, baby. Bleu de Chanel parfum. If you want one of the greatest sandalwood fragrances ever, either get Stronger With You sandalwood or get Bleu de Chanel parfum. The original Bleu de Chanel Eau de Parfum and Eau de Toilette is a little bit more on the a little bit more on the citrus side, a little bit more bright and aquatic. This though is one of the most luxurious. You smell like you're wrapped up in a sandalwood blanket. And Bleu de Chanel parfum is one of my favorite things in the entire world. The parfum edition. Sunshine Man got continued. Oh no, that's a shame. Getting the clone from Oud. Let me know how Oud Cabana is. I haven't tried that myself. But I appreciate you guys so very much to everybody who stopped through. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day to anybody who has to leave. I'm going to keep streaming for a while because I have the time to do so today because I ain't got nothing else to work on for a little bit of time. But thank you so much to everybody who's popping in. And really and seriously, I was just super excited to share that I finally got an Aaron Terrence Hughes fragrance. Also, to Moo, I hope you enjoy Blue de Chanel. But yeah, I'm super happy I finally got Athena. My buddy also got me, what is it? Uh, Belle de Nuit. So Aaron Terrence Hughes' Belle de Nuit is supposed to be, he's got for me. So a friend of mine basically ordered me in exchange for hand of the stuff that I gave him. He got me a couple of these bad boys. So Athena, Belle de Nuit, and then, what was the other one? Unicorn. So I got Unicorn coming from Aaron Terrence Hughes, and I can't wait to check those out when he gets them. Very, very excited because this is literally like the guy that inspired me to do all this, and I love smelling his work. So this might be a weird question, but what would be a fragrance that smells like rainy weather? Like that smell? Oh, that's not a weird question at all. So there's actually a name for that. My job, like I said, I work for a candle maker supply company. My job has a scent. It's called petrichor. So if you look it up, petrichor is the smell of like after the rain. So like the smell of the dirt, the trees, tree moss, all that stuff when there's wet dirt, wet everything, not in a very stinky way, but extremely earthy. Petrichor, I think it's Petrichor, something like that. So if you look up petrichor, that scent profile, look that up and see if you can find it in fragrances. As far as though a fragrance that smells like the petrichor type of scent, I don't have anything that has directly got that as a note profile. You heard Elysium is the best. That is definitely, something subjective, but I've heard people say that, so that's a good choice. But so something that has like a very earthy feel to it. Um, a lot of times you're going to get gear shifted towards a oody note profile for most fragrances to carry that type of fragrance out. I would say that something that's more cologne heavy, so not cologne, Calone, but like a more actual fragrance feel to it. I would say probably the Neo version or the original Oud for Greatness has this really beautiful, masculine and dense profile that smells like a more luxurious version of that after the rain type of feel. But three just came out. Another fragrance that has a petrichor note. Thank you so much, Omar, for saying. Like I said, I always love and appreciate when you guys in the comments help each other out. So thank you so very much. Real quick, also, trying to keep up with you guys. Good afternoon. Hope your family's doing well. They're doing fantastic. Thank you so much for asking me that, brother. F. Torrey, I'm very happy to see you. Real quick, Afnan Rare Reef. It was nice. It was very good. Just like I'm already not a big fan of Louis Vuitton in general, but it is a take on Pacific Chill, I'm pretty sure. I already gave it away as a gift to my buddy who's helped me out with the Aaron Terrence Hughes fragrances. So Rare Reef, I give it like a 7.5 out of 10. It was really decent enough. Very good mint notes, very good aquatic feel to it. Good performance actually for the price range, but just not my style. So very nice summer fragrance, but very youthful as well. Very cheap shower gel type of fragrance, but not. That sounds bad, but it's very shower gel fragrant, and it's not for me. So I'm gonna give it a 7.5. But thank you, Omar. I always want to encourage you guys to help each other out in the comments and stuff if you can. 1 out of 10 rating on Rasasi Hawash Tropical. Honestly, because I really, really love Paradise Garden. Uh, I'm not a huge Versace person, but I think they knocked it out of the park. I would seriously give this about a. I'm gonna give this a 9.1 is what I would probably give this. To be completely sincere with you, this is the best of all the Versace Hawass line to me. Next to Black, they did a really good job with Black and Fire, but I really and Elixir, they did a good job with Elixir, but Tropical is fantastic actually. The performance and everything, I do rate this really well. With that being said, the only one that has that feeling for me is Noir 29 from Le Labo. Thank you, Brian, for letting that be known. So very much appreciate everybody whenever you guys help each other out in the comments below. It means a lot to me. Let me see if I'm missing anything. Can guys use Bianca Latte? Actually, ironically, even though it does have a little bit of a feminine lean, the only people I've known so far to wear it are men. Although women, it's unisex. But yes, Bianca Latte is incredible. Very, very strong. Very classic ice creamy vanilla fragrance. So I personally enjoy it. And Guerlain Vetiver Parfum has a very earthy, dirty feel. That's right. So certain Guerlain fragrances hold that as well. By the way, nice to see somebody. Thank you for coming through. I like seeing somebody suggesting Guerlain because not too many people that I talk to actually care about much of their work. But very classic company, and I love their stuff. Sorry for the wobbliness, by the way. I just keep having to touch the screen to keep up. What's the mintiest fragrance in my collection? Huh. Mintiest fragrance in my collection. I don't have too many with a mint note, to be honest with you. Other than when I had Rare Reef, I would say that personally, as well as there's like the mildest amount of a mint feel to Hawaii Ice. But other than that, if I had to be completely sincere, I don't really think I have any. Not too many that have like an actual mint feel to it. So sorry, I can't help you with that. I would have said though, Rare Reef probably would have been that thing when I had it. But I do thank you for asking. What about yours? And hello, Alp. Thanks for being here. Gucci Guilty Elixir is fantastic. It's like a variation take on something like Reflection by Amouage, which is one of my wife's favorite, as well as Jean Paul Gaultier's La Melle Parfum. I'd rather you get La Melle Parfum or Reflection from Amouage because it's so similar, but I do think that it's not bad. Gucci Guilty Elixir. What's the best fragrance that's beast mode? Did I have this beast mode? Um, I kind of gear shift a lot back towards either Side Effect by Initio or Oud Silk Mood by Maison Francis Kurkdjian, the extract de parfum. Very, very all day beast mode. Aqua Regia by Zerjoff as well. And Opera. Zerjoff's Opera is one of the most beast mode fragrances that I've ever had. Actually, that's the one I'm going to stick with. Either that or Oud Silk Mood, because they are the most powerful, incredible ones that I've got. Grabbing it today. I hope you enjoy it. Mood. YSL EDP a good beginner fragrance? 100%. YSL EDP is fantastic. Anybody could wear it. It's powerful. Like I said, my wife thinks of it as the YSL EDP. She thinks of it as the snuggle smell. She says it smells like a wonderful fragrance for us to wear when we snuggle. So that's literally the only time I would put it on. Isn't there something called Irish Spring? That is a soap, my huggy. It is a soap. What Valentino do I must need? So Coral Fantasy or the not Born in Roma, but Valentino Uomo Intense is what I'm going to gear shift people towards. But definitely Coral Fantasy is what I'm going to say. So just for me personally. And then Green Stravaganza is a really good choice. I do have Hawass Ice, and it is a good fragrance, but it's not too powerful on the mintiest stuff. Maison Alhambra Lava. I'll have to check that out. But definitely Oud Silk Mood is one of my favorite. It's in my top three. This is one of those ones too that's very funny. This is in my top three favorite fragrances of all time, and yet I can't recommend this to everybody. This is one of the strongest fragrances I have, one of the most luxurious fragrances I have, but the qualities to it, it's papyrus, lavender, oud, but very lightly on the oud, mostly very strong forward, rosy lavender papyrus type of scent. And honestly, this is just phenomenal perfumery. One of my favorites of all time. One of the strongest things you could ever put on, but just very hard to recommend to people because it's unique, just very distinct. Do you like JPG Elixir or Rayhan Elixir? Well, there's no getting around that. JPG is like unbeatable. Rayhan Elixir is decent, but it's more heavy on the chalky, cheap tonka bean smell and not more luxurious. Rayhan Elixir is okay, but I've had a very long exposure to La Male Elixir, the original, and it is not going to be taken. There's no crown going to be taken from La Male Elixir. Your opinion might be different, But even the Elixir Absolute is okay, but the original is the best, and there's just not going to be any getting around that from me personally. The Hawas Elixir is good, Rayhan Elixir is good, but they don't even come close when it comes to actual the quality. Do I have any PDMs? All back here. At this moment, I have six, seven, eight. I've got eight left. I used to have a lot more, but I've gifted them away at this point. So like Greenlee, the original Altair, stuff like that. Perseus. So giving those away, but still got Herod, Carlisle, Ojon, Leighton exclusive, Haldane, Percival, Pegasus, stuff like that. I love Parfums de Marly. Very, very good fragrances. Polo Blue. I don't wear it personally, but it's not a bad fragrance. It's much more youthful. Most Beast Mode fragrance, Macera Red Tobacco or Starry Nights from Motel. Those are good fragrances. Very, very good, my friend. I personally really love Red Tobacco Intense. I'm glad you brought that up because I actually failed to mention that earlier. So, talking about some of my strongest fragrances, I love Red Tobacco Intense. It's a really good one. So, thank you for reminding me about that. Actually, my wife was just talking about the other day how she really likes that smoked tobacco scent profile when it comes out of fragrance. It smells really good. So what this reminds me of, I haven't smoked in almost 8 years now, but when I did use tobacco products, because I'm a huge fantasy nerd, I'm a big Tolkien fan, stuff like that. I've been reading Lord of the Rings and stuff since I was very small, and this reminds me because when I was younger, when I was around 18, 19, I started smoking a pipe from time to time. So I don't encourage tobacco usage, but when I was, there was a creme brulee tobacco that I used, and the resinous left at the base of that before I would clean it out. This reminds me a lot of that. There are like apple notes. It reminds me a lot of Carlisle by Parfums de Marly, and it's just a very beautiful fragrance. So Intense Red Tobacco by Mancera is a really good choice for a lot of people. Very, very strong. So you've got to be prepared to smell this way for the entirety of the day and have it on your clothes for quite some time. But Intense Red Tobacco, it's definitely got my endorsement. I'm not sponsored by any of these companies. I'm just telling you my thoughts. But this is like a serious like past 9 out of 10 for me personally. Is there any difference between the Intense from the normal one? And do you think there's a designer fragrance that smells like Bianco Latte? So real quick, as far as the first question that was asked, a designer fragrance that smells like Bianco Latte. As far as men are concerned, I can't think of any off the top of my head at this moment. If anybody could help out, if you've been exposed to both, please help out in the chat. I will say though, as far as like there is, what is this called? Noor, Noor, by Riffs. So I think it's two I's. RIF or RIFF. I can't remember which one it is, but look up Riffs Noor, Noor. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. It is very similar. It's not as luxurious. It is strong, very powerful. That vanillic, creamy smell. Not lactic too much, but very creamy. So if you're looking for something cheaper, but with the price you're going to pay, because I think it's around 120, I would say 120 to 130 off of Giardini di Toscana's website. I would say just if you can save up the money and get Bianco Latte. It's very strong, and you can't go wrong with that. Amore Cafe is kind of there. Is there anything as far as this is concerned? Between the Intense, there is a difference, but I can't remember exactly what the note profile change is. But it's just more of an intensity. Not designer, but Lattafa Eclair is spot on. I have to try that. I have not tried that yet, but I will say that when it comes down to it, Lattafa. I've had a lot of exposure of Lattafa fragrances versus their original compatriots. And just like a lot of other dupe companies, Lattafa always falls a little bit flat for me. So if you get a lot of time with the originals, like Bianco Latte, and you really get the density and complexity, because it is actually good quality materials that go into something like that, even though it's not the most expensive price range, you will get a good bang for your buck from something like Lattafa's fragrances, but there's still going to be something a little bit missing if you want that complexity, that richness, that luxury of the original. But yeah, but if it suits your bill, so I'm not saying you shouldn't go for it, but if something fits you like that, then go for it. But I just like to tell you, sometimes save the money and get the original, because this is a very strong fragrance, and it is worth the money if you save it, and it's not that bad compared to me telling somebody to go get Xerjoff's Naxos, which I do as much as I possibly can. Get Xerjoff's Naxos if you ever save the money and can do so, but especially off of a good discount site. But for sure, Bianco Latte is in a reasonable range. Thoughts on Tom Ford Black Orchid? Oh boy, that's a good question. I'll get right back to that. It can be like that, flat in the beginning, give them a few squirts, leave them in the cupboard, and they come out smelling insane. Yeah, so maceration does do some decent work for a lot of fragrances, but in and of itself, there's still something honestly missing. Like for me personally, I've had a lot of time, and as you can see, a lot of exposure to an incredible amount of perfumery for the past couple of years, as well as a lot of things I don't even have here. And I can say maceration helps, but it's not always going to get you there. So it will help a lot for a lot of juice, but there's still going to be some fragrances that you just can't get that oomph from if you want what the original had to offer. That doesn't mean though, I have had situations where certain DNA alterations have even been better than the originals for certain fragrances. It really just depends on the person. But I'm giving you my thoughts. Remember, they are subjective. And if your thoughts are different, that's totally okay. As far as black, I want to smell Bianco Monte so much because of the milk and vanilla in it, but I can't find a place to smell and don't want to blind buy it. I do respect that. I respect you not blind buying it. So I can't really suggest anything. You can just go try. I will say, like I said, the Amore Cafe is pretty decent, but it's not perfect. And then NOOR, so Riffs Nor, a very decent enough price range for what it's worth. I would say give it a shot if you would like to. But yeah, More Cafe is pretty decent as far as it's all concerned. Either one of those will get you there. But as far as Black Orchid is concerned, I actually really appreciate Black Orchid and the Parfum Edition, but I will never wear it because as strange as it's going to sound, perfumery is supposed to connect to your senses, make memories, make experience, stuff like that. Tom Ford, this is going to sound really weird, but one of my best friends in my life that I ever had, who I was very close to for a very long time through some of the worst points of my life. Um, but because of some of those worst points of my life, we ended up parting ways, and we just are not going to communicate ever again. Unfortunately, I mean, I would hope one day that might change. It's not really my decision, but this person decided to distance himself away, and we just don't talk, and I have no way to communicate with him. So one of my best friends I ever had, like a brother to me, but we just don't communicate. With that little piece of information said, his apartment used to smell just like Tom Ford's Black Orchid. I don't know why. He didn't own Tom Ford's Black Orchid, but it just had that scent profile. When I smell Tom Ford's Black Orchid, especially the Perfume Edition, be the one, it just reminds me so much of, like, for some reason, the way my old buddy's apartment smelled. So I love the scent in and of itself. It's very well done. Excellent perfumery, even to this day formulations. I just won't wear it because of that. So I know none of you asked, but here on my channel, I really do believe in, like, letting you get to know me better. I want to get to know you guys better. Sincerely, if you guys are going to come back around, if you intend to ever like hang out and like talk more during these streams and be a part of the community, I really want to get to know you guys, not just some stupid social media bull crap. Like I really want you to, we're all in this thing together as a team. Just for our love of perfumery and stuff. So yeah, I'll tell you stories about me even if you don't care. What do you think about Altair dupe behind you? So they're throwing this out there. Vanilla Dunes, excuse me, Liquid Broom was the first Althea dupe I got, and it absolutely blew my mind. How I think that Althea is one of the best duped fragrances because it's vanilla pod, orange blossom, all that stuff to the core. I think that if there was ever a fragrance I've experienced that has been duped, and it's honestly better than the original, between if you want a more sweet version, Liquid Broom, more youthful, more sweet, definitely great for the price you pay, versus Eagle Star, which is a perfect balance from Sensual Obsessions, Eagle Star, or if you just want that very much more on the light floral but still going to last all day, Hot Lodge's Vanilla Dunes. There's literally three absolutely immaculate, like almost 10 out of 10 dupes for out there. So that's kind of why I gave the original bottle away because I've got multiples of the dupes. So I don't need them. I didn't need it because the performance in those are honestly even better than the Parfums de Marly as well. So, like I said, it's hard to beat. So I think that out of the bunch, Vanilla Dunes and Eagle Star are my two favorites. By the way, I just want to throw this out there again. So I got a whole sample pack of these guys that I'm going to talk about. Excuse me, because I'm not sponsored or nothing. If I end up being sponsored at some point, you never know. Things could happen. But if at this moment I'm not, but I'll always be straight up with you guys. And even if a company ever does, I don't. I've been offered emails by companies about potential sponsorships, but they are not okay with the fact that I'm not going to lie for money. So I'll tell you if it absolutely sucks or not. But this company is incredible, and so if, I love talking with these guys from Sensual Obsessions. So definitely just wanted to throw this out there. If you go to their website, They're not sponsoring me right now or anything like that. I'm just throwing this out there because I love them. They're nice people, but they're based in Florida, and for like $40, I think $40 or $45 after shipping and everything, you can actually make your own fragrance, and it's like they're extrait de parfums. So that's not a bad price. They're really awesome, and they last all day. Some of the best. I know I sound like a salesman right now. I normally wouldn't do this, but I love these guys, and their stuff is awesome. Because this is the one that I made for myself on their website. So check this out. Some of the best atomizers you ever see. I don't know if you guys see that, but like I've almost never, other than like a Dior atomizer or something, it's like some of the best atomizers you've ever seen. And these are 30 mils, but yeah, for like $40 to $45, you can make your own fragrance. So like you get to pick from this like giant list of notes. I will say, when you're picking your own notes, it's difficult because you start to realize, holy crap, I don't know what's going to work together. So just throwing it out there. But Sensual Obsessions, they're definitely an awesome website. So they're they're parfum extract. So just throwing it out there because they make good stuff. But sorry about your parting ways. Hopefully to connect someday. Hey, appreciate you asking though, buddy. So definitely. But the reason I brought this up real quick, just throwing it out there, Sensual Obsessions Eagle Star is one of the greatest takes on Altair by Parfums de Marly. So just letting you know. So $40, very fantastic. But yeah, maybe we'll reconnect one day. Who knows? But either way, like stuff happens in life. Sometimes, just for whatever reason, people part ways. I very much respect that. I believe in people working stuff out and having open communication, friendships and stuff like that. Like they are meaningless if you can't sit down and talk with each other, and work through things and express things. But sometimes when you're growing in life, you realize that who you are and the direction you need to head doesn't work and line up with somebody else. So I just definitely say it's a good thing. It's okay sometimes if like you realize, okay, we just can't keep going on the same track together. We need to just part ways and grow in different directions for us to grow. So that's kind of, I guess, the way things was. I love my buddy. We were the best of friends for the longest time. But it just turned out that for us to keep growing in a better direction in life, we needed to go different directions. And now who I am and who he is, it just doesn't really come together if we were going to hang out. Plus, we live like 2.5 hours away from each other. Um, with that being said, Adrian, I know you like Cologne, but it seems kind of obsessive and idealistic. No offense taken by that, and I'll answer you in just a second. With that being said, real quick, I'll answer the other questions and then I'll get back to you. Is Angel Share worth it? I don't like Angel Share. Just throwing it out there. I've got a bottle of it. I never wear it. I actually prefer certain other variations on it, but to be honest with you, Angel Share is too syrupy and sweet for me, just to throw it out there. Do you think niches are worth the hype? Absolutely, depending on which ones they are. Not all of them are. Some of them are absolutely not worth the money. Some are fantastic. Now, to my buddy Adrian, real quick. Sensual Obsession, create your own sound is a great way to create your own dupe. It absolutely is. Thank you, GH3, for the nice collection. I appreciate you. And now, I have checked out Ganymede, but it's been a while, and I can't even remember what it smells like. But I do know it was pretty good when I checked it out. So if you could tell me your thoughts, though, my friend. So back to this other person, Adrian. No offense, but you seem to switch between the worship of God and reading His gospel. And I know you like cologne, but it seems obsessive. So just throwing this out there on this channel. This channel started off as a fragrance review channel. It's what I do. It's how I enjoy things. I don't encourage people. I actually discourage people from trying to collect as many fragrances as I have because you don't need this. This is just what I do for fragrance reviews. So I keep them stocked up like this for these streams. With that being said, for anybody who don't know, on this channel, I do things that I care about, not just fragrances. So I also teach religious studies through live streams and stuff on this channel. With that being said, yeah, for me personally, people are allowed to appreciate art. People are allowed to express themselves. This is something that means a lot to me, and I get to share it with people and reach people in a way. So, no offense taken, but I'm just throwing this out there. Your opinion is your opinion, and it's totally okay and respectable. But I, and of myself, am not like a biblical literalist or fundamentalist or anything like that. I like to teach religious histories and also definitely teach things from the Bible. So, for anybody who ever comes through for that stuff, you're welcome to join, but just understand I, as a person, have different passions in life, and we probably don't even have the same matched up theological settings, anyways. So, just explaining that. No offense taken, but I definitely get where you're coming from. I'm just not on the same page as you with that, and that's okay. So, but you're still welcome to be here and ask questions. With that being said, what's good, GH3? Oh, cool to see you guys recognizing each other. It always makes me happy when you guys come and hang out. What cologne smells like black ice? Hmm. Black ice, like the car air freshener. I don't really know, to be honest with you. If somebody else could help out in the comments, that would be helpful because I don't really know cologne off the top of my head. 'Cause I'm trying to remember what black ice even smells like. This might sound strange, but if I remember correctly, almost kind of rare reef with that minty quality, and that's supposed to be like a Pacific chill. I'm probably like very wrong, but this is just my thoughts off the top of my head. I feel like rare reef would have probably been a pretty good take on like that minty black ice feel, but I might be very wrong. And I know you're not hating. I'm just throwing it out there. I appreciate, I always welcome people. Like, if you got to ask questions, that's fine. I just talk a lot, and you can ask my wife. I'm like very explanatory, and that's just the way I am. So if you guys ever see me going on a long tangent or explaining stuff, believe me, I'm not offended or anything about nothing. If you guys ever, you can ask me whatever you want as long as you're being respectful. And by respectful, I just mean as long as you're not actively trying to hurt somebody or attack somebody, you can ask whatever. Nothing's too personal for me. Uh, and also, Alp, thanks for saying that about my tattoos. I appreciate it. Honestly, there's a lot of times I wish I didn't have any anymore, because believe it or not, I'm 32 and I got all these tattoos for the most part when I was 18 years old because I was a musician. I loved tattoos and stuff, the art of tattoos. But I didn't know that not long after I got all this stuff in very visible places, that SoundCloud rappers was going to make looking like this a trend, and then next thing you know, everybody thinks I'm a rapper or thinks I've been in prison or something, whatever, stereotypes. So to be completely straight up with you, there's a lot of times I kind of wish I didn't look like this anymore. But it costs way too much to get this junk removed. So, but I appreciate you. Have you smelled Black Lacquer by Tom Ford? I love that you asked that because I got that when it first came out. I did a review on it here on my channel. This is not for everybody. Straight up out of the gate, it's got an inky vinyl scent to it, like they were going for. The name fits it perfectly, but it is weird, it is unique, and I really love this one. Although I did realize the other day, except for in the dead of like cold fall or winter, I'm not going to ever wear this because the scent is just so distinct. Um, I'm 32 as well, 92 gang. So I'm actually 93, so I was right there in May. May is my birthday, but definitely love having my buddies here from the 90s. Happy to see you. I actually like your devotion to God and your ability to share it on the internet. Thank you, Adrian. I appreciate that. I tried. We're all diverse folks out here, different walks of life, different backgrounds and stuff, and the world is already an incredibly, incredibly negative place. People are I'll even sometimes when I'm talking about like, don't just trust people pushing fragrances on you from TikTok and junk. Like I sound very negative myself, so it is a very negative world out there. And I just try to have a good time with you guys and hang out, and when we can just express in any way, shape, or form, like that goodness that comes from within us, that I believe comes from like a very serious blessing from God above, is special if we get to do that here together. So. I appreciate anybody who comes through here, and if ever we grow together, learn together, it means a lot to me. But Brian, thank you for being here, buddy. Hi there. What's your favorite Creed fragrance? Thinking about getting Virgin Island water. Also, I do not have Myrrh and Tonka to Content Terminator. That's a fun name. I do not have Myrrh and Tonka, but I actually have smelled it, and it's a really good fragrance. My only Joe Malone I have at this point is the Cypress and Grapevine. That's my favorite of the entire bunch. Myrrh and Tonka is actually a really good fragrance, although they're cologne intenses. If you guys don't know what that is, cologne intense is one of the weakest concentrations of fragrance oil, so not the most long lasting at all, even worse than eau de toilette. But Joe Malone fragrances are really nice and distinct at times. My favorite, as far as favorite Creed fragrances, I'm not a very big Creed fan because performance has really dropped as they have been overtaken by higher companies and really reformulated. It just happens sometimes. But Silver Mountain Water, Milsom Imperial, and also Aventus Absolute are my favorite Creed fragrances. Favorite fragrance in general is Naxos by Xerjoff. It's just an all-around incredible monster fragrance, like the most beautiful fragrance to me, as well as Jean Paul Gaultier's La Mel Elixir. I tie that, even though I shouldn't tie stuff, I can't help it. La Mel Elixir and La Mel Parfum are tied for me, and then definitely Oud Silk Mood. I love Ombre Leather Parfum by Tom Ford. But Oud Silk Mood, Extract de Parfum, one of my favorites. Grand Soir, 40 Knots by Xerjoff. These are my favorites, but Naxos is my number one. But yeah, Myrrh and Tonka is nice. See the fruits of the spirit and the way you humbly act. I appreciate that. You know what? I was just thinking about this the other day. So I was talking with a friend about being like what it is like to be yourself. Because I know it's gonna sound like really stupid and hippie and deep, and I'm not trying to. I'm being sincere real quick. But for me, especially as someone who personally believes in God, likes to share some type of good message in that way, especially through like these avenues and stuff. Not trying to force religion on anyone or anything like that. Just trying to express what I believe we as people should do. Being humble can be a difficult task at times in the sense that it almost feels performative. I think about that a lot. I think about sometimes when I'm trying to be sincere here on this channel when I do these live streams. I hope it never comes off when I'm expressing my gratitude to you guys coming through and asking questions and stuff. By the way, you guys who are commenting, I will get back to you just in a second. I promise. But sometimes I feel like when you try to be sincerely humble, I feel like it can come off as insincere. So trying to express humility, I worry sometimes. I analyze myself a little too much. And sometimes I feel like when I am trying to let you guys how grateful I am for you to be here, because I really am. When we get to have community and talk on any of my streams, it means the world to me. But I hope you never take it as me like just doing it for the sake of being performative. Like, hey, I'm so thankful for you guys, just tricking you into thinking I care. I really do. So if it ever seems that way, please forgive me because I appreciate y'all so much. So nobody's accusing me of that at all. Like you literally, Adrian just said the opposite, but I do think about that stuff a lot. Like sometimes, what does it really be like to be humble? And mostly it's an internal thing to remember that like we're just people. Like for me personally, I'm not famous, I'm not important to you guys, like only to my family as most of us are. um, this channel, for instance, I've got 115,000 subscribers, and guess what? It doesn't mean anything because at the end of the day, I don't get paid to do this, and for the most part, like most of my videos, nobody hardly watches, regardless of what I talk about. And I don't mean that in like a "woe is me" thing. I mean it like it's just the way it is. It's a competitive world, and unless you're being fake and trendy and acting outrageous, most people don't care what you got to say. So if you do stuff like this, it better be because you mean it and you're passionate about it, and you just want to connect to people, even if it's just two people at a time. And sometimes some of us just like to teach or talk with people. And this is what I do. I know some of you guys out there are like I've been in my life. You don't really have people around you all the time. Sometimes you just want to connect to folks, even if it's just very superficial and just for temporary amounts of time. So that's why I do these things. And it means a lot to me to connect with you guys. And yes, I do remember you, my friend. Super happy to see you here again. So once again, just went way off down a tangent, but just want to throw that out there. I appreciate you guys when you come through here, and I really mean that. So you talked about Zerjoff Opera already. What's your thoughts on Acento? I actually really like Acento. It's like a really unique take on a classic smell profile. I don't remember what the notes are, but there's also Acento Overdose, and I want to get my hands on that at some point. But Acento, just like Herba Pura and all them, are very strong. It's not citrusy like those in that same way or fruity, but it's a very good fragrance. And if you're considering it, I do recommend it. It's a good fragrance. I love Lamella Elixir. I don't care what anybody says about it. Yeah, Lamella Elixir is a major compliment getter. It's one of my wife's favorites too. And yeah, like my wife said to Adrian, your thoughts are very sincere, and I appreciate you so much. All of you guys are welcome to ask anything you want. So, Milan, somebody asked me about Roja earlier. I've sampled two Roja fragrances before, but I just want to throw this out there. I don't really give much of I'll give like superficial thoughts, but I don't give too many in-depth thoughts about fragrances unless I've had the opportunity. I have this three-time rule. So with fragrances, any perfumery, I've got this rule where I don't like giving much of my thoughts until I have been able to try one. Um, about three times. So what I mean by that is I don't care for using sample sticks. Skin is the only way you're going to get to know your personal hormone reactions because believe it or not, the chemical compounds that a perfumer and a chemist uses in fragrances is different on different people's hormones. So unless I've tried something on my skin and seen how it works, performs, and reacts, and as well how I feel about it once the notes break down, I don't like to give my thoughts on something. So again, just being over-explanatory because that's how I am. But when it comes down to it, Roja fragrances is one of those ones I've only tried very superficially, so I don't even remember really what they smell like all that much. But if you guys have and you want to help each other in the chat, please feel free to do so. But let me see. You started your channel. What do I think about Side Effect? It is one of the greatest fragrances of all time, even though it's not my personal top 10 because there's just other ones that take that place, and I'm very picky. It is like number 11 or 12, but it's in my wife's top 10, and it is fantastic, bright, sweet, syrupy, but not in a like an angel share too much type of way. Just a bright, sweet tobacco fragrance, and I love it. I think it's one of the strongest fragrances you can get your hands on. It's pretty expensive though, but Side Effect by Initio is fantastic. But you started your channel 10 months ago. You hope to grow it. Just keep going. Be yourself. So don't do anything gimmicky. Please just be you. Keep it going. Be sincere about your fragrances that you review and the way you do it. And sooner or later, start doing streaming too. Get yourself comfortable talking with strangers and stuff. But sooner or later, it'll work out in some way or another, or at least you can say you're happy you did it. What's your thoughts on clone houses making all these versions? They make better versions. That's the truth. That's actually not the truth. That's subjective. To be completely honest with you, there are very occasion. I'm gonna be real with you. As somebody who's been exposed to a lot of higher end perfumery, dupe houses very rarely make better fragrances. I mean, maybe to your personal nose, you like them because they're cheaper and whatever, but quality of materials, performance, and then in general, the luxuriousness of the scent, the regalness of the scent. Very rarely do dupe houses actually justify. Um, a lot of the times, TikTokers and YouTubers just shoving the crap out of dupes in front of you because they're sponsored and they're paid. And not only are they paid, they're paid really good money. From some of my own buddies who I've spoken to personally and some of the offers that I've been made, I can assure you, dupe houses, I don't even know where they get the money from because with the money that they pay TikTokers and YouTubers to push crap on you guys with every new release every month, they could just pay way more into advertising. I guess at the end of the day, like if you got a good audience, it is good advertising. But I am being sincere when I tell you that even companies like Hot Lodge and French Avenue and Latafa are paying people anywhere between $300 to $3,000 for a little review clip. Especially because a lot of these people are generating them more money, but in and of itself, it's just a cash grab. So yes, Vanilla Dunes, certain companies doing like Althea dupes and sometimes like doing Creed dupes and stuff like that, like at Armagh and stuff. They make some fragrances that are better than the originals. I prefer Club de Nuit Intense Parfum over Creed Aventus, so sometimes they do better, but for the most part, quality versus how much you buy, how frequently, dupes are not better, and sometimes they're just downright is like obscene. You just keep copying junk. Make your own stuff. If you guys got all these materials, make your own stuff. So sometimes it's good. Again, it's just my opinion. So I mean, no offense to you guys. Feel how you want. But if you're asking me, I'm going to tell you my honest opinions. So this is why I'm not sponsored and I don't get paid by these companies to talk about their stuff is because I don't want to lie for them. And if you ever get emails for sponsorships to my other buddies who are trying to do fragrance channels, you will get emails from sponsorships when you start to grow. And they're going to make it explicitly clear. They're not going to send you free stuff and they're not going to pay you from these cheaper dupe companies unless you're going to say ahead of time, it's good. It's good. It's a beast mode. It's a performer. I've got the emails and I'm telling you, they will ask you to say it's good regardless of how you feel about it. And I'm not going to do that. And I hope that if you guys start a fragrance channel, you don't either. Light Blue Capri and Love is a certified banger. Love your channel. Thank you, Young Screamer. That's a fun name, and I appreciate you taking the time to come through here and watch. I really do love the new Capri and Love. It is a fantastic take. It's not my style, so I never wear it. But I want you to learn how to like something, even if it's not for you. Like really get your nose used to different note profiles, so you'll be able to tell if something's your speed or not. I'm seeing lots of Redditors collecting hyped up dupes. Xerjoff or Suspiro? Xerjoff all the way. Suspiro actually used to be a joint company. Suspiro branched off actually, and that's why their bottles look so similar. But from what I've been told from the industry, they do great fragrances, vibrato and stuff like that. Great fragrances, but I prefer Xerjoff overall. Um, I appreciate it, Andrew and Jess. I subscribed as well. Thank you so much. Like GH3, I appreciate you. Content Terminator, I appreciate all you guys. I'm not trying to be a douchebag. I'm not trying to be controversial because it does no good. Otherwise, if it did, I'd be getting millions of views, and I'm not. I just want to tell you the truth. There are really good dupes out there, really good clones out there. But by and large, they're just a stupid cash grab from companies who are just making paint by number fragrances and copies with cheaper quality materials, trying to make money off of people who think in their head, oh, 30 or 50 new fragrances at $20 to $50 a piece is way better than me getting 5 fragrances for $300 a piece. In the long run, they're not because the quality that you will get. Now, again, don't get me wrong, not all more expensive and niche perfumery is good. Some of them are made with very crap materials. There are some new Tom Fords that are made not as good as they used to be, whereas Ebon Fume and certain other ones are still made fantastic, fantastic performers. But just throwing that out there. Please don't be suckered in by all this crap. Monkey or Naxos? Naxos all the way. Jigglypuff, fantastic name. I love that Jigglypuff She-Bomb. For me personally, Naxos, but Special Monkey is a great fragrance. Thoughts on Jeremy fragrance? I would recommend Liquid Broom. Liquid Brune, Vanilla Dunes, both of them fantastic, just different takes on the same thing. But yeah, or Eagle Star. But GH3, I really appreciate you, buddy. As a matter of fact, let me see. You didn't ask for this, but I am going to add you as a moderator. Um, Anybody who ever wants to be a moderator on this channel, by the way, if you're going to be respectful and make sure, my whole goal here is during these live streams, I just never want to let people be disrespectful to one another. So people can disagree with each other. But if people come through doing a bunch of cussing, talking about inappropriate stuff, things like that, that's not welcome here. But if anybody ever wants to be a moderator and just help out with that stuff, like we've had a good time so far. We're 15 minutes away from 2 hours. And so far, nobody's been rude or ugly. But it does happen. Every now and then you get trolls. So when you guys are willing to come through and help out, moderate that while I'm talking, I appreciate y'all. And by the way, you're absolutely welcome, Jigglypuff. I appreciate you so much. Thoughts on Jeremy Fragrance? I think he is funny to watch at times, but oh, you're welcome, my friend. I think that Jeremy is, how do I put this? So I'm going to be honest, but I don't want to be disrespectful. I think that I don't know the guy. I think that he does some things that's very inappropriate. Again, as I say, I'm a family friendly show here. So no matter what your background is, your beliefs, whatever, I like to keep an atmosphere here where anybody can feel comfortable being here and not have to see or hear things that make them feel weird or inappropriate. So again, because I've had times where there's been like, I don't encourage young people using the internet. As a father myself of almost two teenagers, I've had times where there's been like 10-year-olds who are, for whatever reason, are scouring the internet who are ended up here on the stream. And because of that, I don't want people doing inappropriate stuff. So with that being said, Jeremy Fragrance most definitely does inappropriate things sometimes. Um, but at the same time, also he is like one of the OGs in the fragrance world, so I have respect for what he originally did for the fragrance online community. But obviously, he don't need the money no more. He's doing really well. He just does whatever he wants. So yeah, if I ever meet the guy, I'd be happy. It'd be cool to meet him. It'd be cool to pick his brain. Me and my wife went to Munich, Germany and Tegernsee in Nuremberg for our honeymoon 2 years ago almost. And we love Germany. We can't wait to go back. If I'm ever there and I meet the dude while we're there, that'd be really cool. But yeah, in general though, I think that he just makes stuff at this point, as far as I can see, just to make it and just to keep going. But I don't know that he's always being very, very sincere. I'm just not sure. So just sharing my thoughts. Great coconut fragrance. Definitely going to be Le Beau de Parfum and Paradise Garden. They both feature coconut notes. So Jean Paul Gaultier's Le Beau de Parfum or Paradise Garden. They both feature coconut notes, but in different variations. Paradise Garden's way more aquatic, but they're fantastic. Liquid Brune is fantastic. What's up, man? What do you think about Rare Reef, Afnon, or Legacy? So, just throwing this out there. So that's not what you asked about. You asked about. So I definitely will say not every Afnon fragrance is that great, but I will say I really love Supremacy Collector's Edition. This is supposed to be a take on Creative Ventus Absolute, and this is fantastic, great performer. On the other hand, Rare Reef, I gave it away as a gift because I thought that it was really nice, but it's my wife's new favorite. Oh yeah, okay, you're talking about Liquid Brune. But I will say Rare Reef was very nice, but I give it like a 7, 7.5 out of 10. It's just very generic smelling. Nice in a sense that it's aquatic with a mint profile to it, but it's just a little too shower gel for me, like a lot of other stuff, like also Tarathi Blue, stuff like that, Tarathi Electric, ones I gave away as a gift. So I think that for the price point and for like younger people, I think it's a really good fragrance. It's just not my personal style. I swear I have a t-shirt on my clothing hanger for at least 3 to 4 days and Liquid Brune is still on it. It probably is because Liquid Brune is a very, very strong fragrance. What's up, buddy? Thank you, Flavio, for coming through. I love the EDT of Le Beau and Paradise Garden, but is the parfum version better? 100%. Just throwing that out there. It seems like there are more notes that take away from the coconut. Not for me personally. I mean, I can understand there are more depth to it, more higher concentrations of oil. But Paradise Garden, definitely the original Le Beau de Parfum is going to give you a little bit more of a rich, coconutty, creamy feel to it, for me personally. And it lasts forever. If you put Le Beau de Parfum in your clothes, it's never going to go away. But and then Paradise Garden is a bit more on the aquatic side. So that it's not actually redundant to have both. But the parfum, well, I believe they're actually eau de parfums. It's just called Le Parfum. But regardless, those versions are definitely better, higher concentrations, and still maintain that good coconut scent. So I definitely appreciate it. I see you got Silver Mountain Water clone. Absolutely. So here's the original Silver Mountain Water. Here's Sillage. Personally, as much as I love the original, and I'm not a big dupe guy, this to me is overall better. It's more synthetic. But in the dry down, almost exactly the same. Very rare that that happens. And Armoff really knew what they were doing, and the performance for this is ridiculous, out of this world. So I highly recommend it. And thank you for coming through. Thank you to everybody who comes through and talks, asks questions, and all that stuff. I enjoyed it. I gotta get back to work. Well, thank you so much, buddy. I really appreciate you for taking the time to even come through here and talk with me. I really mean that so much. So you're welcome back anytime to any of the streams that I do, and I really appreciate you so much. Um, and I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day at work. Just bought Rare Reef and I overlay a Vulcan Few. I really like that. That's a nice combo. I haven't tried that myself. I wish I had tried it before I gave away the Rare Reef because I still got Vulcan Few. But I will say that is a fantastic combination choice, and you've got good taste. Have I heard of cremo? I have, and I don't remember why. I can't remember. It's like is that a classic thing, or is that a more recent thing? I cannot remember what I'm thinking of because I'm brain farting on that word. Because I know something else called cremo. It's like a hair treatment thing, but I know that's not what you're talking about. I think that's an older fragrance, isn't it? Vulcan Few is very feminine leaning. It was for me too, and it's also just not that great of a performer. I just received Alhamad Dubai. Don't know if I'm feeling it. I actually don't remember what that smells like. I don't have a bottle of that anymore, and I don't even remember if it was pretty decent. There's a handful of fragrances that I've had that I just run right through. Like it comes in, especially the cheaper ones, and I'm like, not for me, and I just pass it on. Have a Thank you. I have a good nose. It seems like you do. Aqua Dubai is very soapy. By the way, just real quick, I'm going to end this stream in about 11 minutes. I've had a good time with you guys. I will be right back, though. I've got to use the restroom real quick. Great cheapy brand, Spice Black and Vanilla Spice Bomb stream for $20. Heck yeah. They made a body wash called Italian Bergamot. Joe Milano's house better than that T Note. I'd like to check out some Joe Milano stuff. You guys keep asking questions. If I miss anything, I'm sorry. But again, well, let me say this real quick before I go use the bathroom real fast. Again, everybody, my name is Andrew. This channel used to be called Douglas Moon Fragrance. So that is what's on my little silver play button here. It used to be called Douglas Moon Fragrance Channel, but when I decided that I wanted to start talking about every fragrance that I'm passionate about, and not just fragrances, talk about everything I'm passionate about. So I do like religious studies streams and history streams and stuff on here as well. When I wanted to just really open it up, I decided instead of Douglas Moon Fragrance, I was just going to start going by Andrew Douglas Moon. So Andrew's my real first name. So I appreciate every last one of you guys who stopped through to hang out. I'm going to continue to always be doing these streams as much as I possibly can, and it means the world to me when I get to hang out with you guys and talk with you guys. So thank you. You're always welcome here, every one of you. I want this to be a safe place where no matter who you are, your background, your walk of life, we're all comfortable here and we get to talk and hang out and discuss stuff and just be there with each other, have a community. So that's what this is all about. So I just wanted to throw that out there before I use the bathroom real quick because I appreciate you guys so much. Really and truly, it means the world to me to get to talk with y'all. So, have you tried Killian Angel Share? If the paradise is worth grabbing. So I have Killian Angel Share. Let me grab it real quick. I never bring it out anymore because it's just not my style. It is a good fragrance, but it's just too syrupy for me. I know it's gonna sound stupid, but it's just a little too syrupy for me personally. But it's a good fragrance for a lot of people if you're looking for a really rich, powerful gourmand. I used to rate this a little bit higher, but for the price you have to pay for this, I really like their apple brandy one. And like Moonlight and Heaven by Killian and stuff like that. But this one's just not my style. I will say if you want like a 1-to-1 to this bad boy, almost 1-to-1. It's probably like very close but not perfect. Kismet's Magic. It used to be, I think, Kismet Angel. Very cheap fragrance, excessively syrupy, a little bit too sweet to me even compared to this. But it's very, very close. If you're looking at Latafa Hamra, they're almost not the same whatsoever in any way, shape, or form. But yeah, this is very decent if you're into this type of thing. I got Aqua Dubai. I like Sahib Intense way more. I have to check that out. But I seriously do. I appreciate you guys. And yeah, Angel Share is pretty good, but I prefer Paradise. But I'm just throwing that out there. I love you guys. I'm going to be right back to use the bathroom. And you guys keep asking questions. And the boy that came out in 1961. I do not. But thank you, Jorge. I got to go. Well, GH3, I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day, buddy. Bless you, my friend. Well, I'm all up in the camera right now. You guys can really see my eczema. Go to the toilet. I know. I get distracted wanting to like say hey to you guys. But I'll be right back. All right, all right. We are almost to the close. What's up? I've seen you in 3 chats now. Omar is definitely my buddy. And I always am so happy to see every last one of you guys when you come through here. So seriously, I appreciate y'all. At this point, if there's any more questions you guys have, if you'd like to know anything else about fragrance, how do you like them apples? Lost signal for just a second there. I'm sorry, you guys. All right. Well, Joe Milano wild card. There is a lot of Joe Milanos that I actually want to go. Hey, bro, enjoying the stream. Have you tried Zaya by Parfums de Marc? I have not. How do you like your bottle so far? And thank you for coming through here and let me know you've enjoyed the stream. It means a lot to me. I appreciate that. What is happening? Why is my lighting doing that? It's so weird. But anyway, um, let's see. Always appreciate the lines. I always appreciate you guys being here. But yeah, I've been looking at Joe Milanos for a while, and I've been trying to figure out if they're worth getting or not because they're not very bad priced at all. I've seen certain people, even like Jeremy Fragrance, talk about them, and even more reputable, like people I respect quite a bit, say they're good. But I worry sometimes because, first of all, as you guys might see sometimes in my close-up videos, I've got skin problems. I got tattoos, a handful of things against me, certain ancestry and stuff as well. Believe it or not, has to do with some things. So my skin tries really hard not to hold on to fragrances, and then I sweat like a beast on top of that. So I like stuff that's very strong and going to stick to you. So just out of curiosity, if you guys have tried Joe Milano, let me know how they stick to you, how they perform and stuff like that. Lafayette Street, doing good rendition. I didn't see what the rest of it is, but I don't want to keep touching the screen. It just became my favorite fragrances, Perfection in a Bottle. Let me see which one you're. Let me remember real quick what you're talking about. Zaya. Heck yeah. Okay, well, I appreciate you letting me know that. Then I'm going to have to check that out if I get the opportunity to do so. Uh, by the way, just want to throw this out there before the stream ends. Please keep commenting and asking questions if you have any before we go. But I just want to throw this out there that since I'm not off during the week anymore, like during the early parts of the day, I'm going to be doing these streams a lot more often on Saturdays and Sundays when I get the opportunity to do so. But if you guys ever have any questions, please just be ready to wait. Go check out if you're willing to support the channel in any way, shape, or form. I don't ever want money from you guys. Just go check out my other videos. So again, I do fragrances and religious studies on this channel. I know those two things don't go together. I should have two different channels if I was trying to be more successful, but I don't really care about that. I just like doing things I love. So like I said, I literally don't get paid to do this channel. I got a silver play button, and I don't even make money doing this channel. So as strange as that might sound, there's reasons for that, but I'm not going to get into that right now. But with that being said, I just do the stuff I love here. So if you want to stick around, you're more than welcome to join. And I appreciate you guys very much to just go watch my other things. So if you ever want to support, don't worry about sending me no stupid super chats or nothing. If you do, I really appreciate it, but I'm not asking for that ever. Just go watch something. Go watch it, leave a comment, let me know what you think, and stuff like that. And I'm going to be filming more fragrance reviews soon. I'm going to be doing more religious studies streams and stuff. With these fragrance streams like this, where we hang out and talk about life, talk about fragrances, whatever you guys want, these casual hangouts, I'm going to be trying to do these a lot more like in the evenings during the week and then on Saturdays and stuff like that. So I seriously thank you guys for coming through here. I appreciate it so much. Now I'm going to try to get caught up real quick in the comments because I've been missing y'all very, very much so. Have you tried Puerto Rico by City Rhythm? I have not. I have not tried that yet. I got a good 6 to 7 hours with wild card. Thank you for letting me know. Do you have gentle fluidity? It's amazing. Arif. I hope I said your name properly. If it's Arif, I'm sorry if I'm wrong, but that's an awesome name either way. Not long ago, I ran across a Bible study stream of yours and enjoyed it. Just scrolling through, and your fragrance stream popped up. Nice to see you. Very happy to see you too here, my friend. I always appreciate people pop in. Reverse Lee. By the way, I'm just trying to run through the comments and get caught up real fast. Is Sauvage EDP still as good as a good signature? It's incredible as a signature. Again, anybody saying things are like overrated and played out, I keep saying this, buying a crap ton of stupid cheap dupes all the time just to have a bunch of fragrances, that's overrated. Classics like Sauvage, especially EDP, but even more so, my personal favorite, other than Elixir, is Sauvage Parfum. But the EDP, it's an incredible signature scent. You're going to really continue to smell fantastic. It doesn't matter if you 10 guys around you got the same thing. Good job. You all are making the world smell better. If 50 guys around you was walking around wearing Sauvage, awesome. You guys are all teamed up now making the world smell better. So please, by all means, EDP is fantastic. I don't know much about fragrance, what I like. Have you tried Penhaligons? It has been a while, so I'm definitely going to have to go back and check those out. It's been a while since I've smelled anything, but if you have a particular favorite, please let me know. Like I said, my rule of threes, unless I've tried something 3 times in a row across multiple weeks, really smelled it on my skin, and got my nose ingrained with that scent, I don't give my thoughts about stuff too much. What's that brown bottle called in front of the YouTube plate? If you're talking about this one right here, this is Oud Mineral by Tom Ford. I did a review video for that on my channel not very long ago, and it is fantastic. Very, very different, very mineral scent, just like it looks. Have you smelled Hugo Boss Boss Bottle Absolute? I have. I will say I've not worn that except for twice I wore it out of the store. I actually like it. I think that Hugo Boss's fragrances are actually really nice, and Boss Bottle Absolute is like it's a knocker. You tried any of the bad boy scents? Only in the store, and it's been a while, so I don't really remember. But I'd love to know your thoughts if you have any. Sauvage Parfum was my most complimented and one of my favorites. Yeah, Young Screama. This is an incredible fragrance. I don't give a crap what nobody says. Having a bottle of Sauvage Parfum around is always going to do you good. People love it. It smells ridiculously good. Lothair by Penhaligon's. Do you have a P.O. box? I'd send you a sample. I actually do. So if you don't mind, if anybody ever wants to send me something, and I am going to be saying this straight up, I have to trust you guys. We don't know each other like very well just through the screen, so I have to trust you guys respectfully. So if you're going to send me something, please be like send me something for real and don't do anything crazy. But anything dangerous. I'm not saying you are, but I'm just letting that be known as a disclaimer. But yes, if you're willing to do so, check out my Instagram. You don't have to follow me or nothing. I don't care about that. I don't use it really hardly. But I have an Instagram, Andrew Douglas Moon, just like the channel here. If anybody ever wants to send me something, or just message me, if you ever want to just message and talk, please find me on there, Andrew Douglas Moon. You don't gotta follow me. I don't care about that. It doesn't mean no good anyway. Um, but we can talk, shoot the breeze. I send voice messages more than I type because I got arthritis. So you're gonna mostly get voice messages from me. But if you find me on there, I can hit you with the PO box and stuff if you want to send me a sample. I appreciate that. So, but definitely, I appreciate you guys. Hugo Boss, Magnetic EDP for 54 from Rock. Heck yeah, that's awesome, Lowe's. Jean Paul Parfum Intense and Jean Paul Gold and Black Bottle. Forget the name, but it's another parfum. I'm guessing that you're talking about the Jean Paul Gaultier Le Male Elixir, if you're talking about the black and gold bottle. If you are, this is like a fantastic, fantastic fragrance. I absolutely love this one. This is one of my favorites of all time in the #2 place. So yeah, this is dummy good. Everybody that I've ever been around when I wear this is nuts about this. They do have the new Absolute edition. It's got like a plum note added to it, but it's not really quite my style. It's good, but it ain't quite my style. So it is now at that point in the day when I've got to hop off here. So like I said, I appreciate you guys so very much. Somebody told me the other day, my buddy Yuvraj, who comes through a lot of the times, suggested me doing a, what is it called? A Discord. I have one like that I'm in my buddies from work with. I don't know a lot about this stuff though. Again, I'm not like the most technological person. As you can see, my live streams even are like horrible quality. I just literally like I just recently got a stupid stand off of Amazon, so I don't have to prop the phone up on something. So as you can see, I'm not doing this in any kind of professional way. Because they say that you step up your game, you do like better quality looking stuff, maybe you'll get more traction. I don't really care about that. I just like doing this for fun. So with that being said, I know that everything doesn't look the best, but I appreciate when you guys come through here and hang out and we talk. Yeah, basically with all that stuff said and out the way, my name's Andrew Douglas Moon. I like to do fragrances and religious studies, all different walks of life as well. I like to share things with you guys so very much, and I appreciate it. And so if you guys ever have any questions, please feel free to come back through. Do not be nervous or afraid to ask pretty much anything, as long as you're being respectful to me and to everybody else in the chat. You're always welcome here. If anybody ever wants to become a moderator, which your main job would just be literally to watch out, make sure people are not being disrespectful in the chat, feel free to do so. And lastly, if anybody ever wants to support the channel, just in general, just go watch my other videos. If you got free time, I don't care if you just let them play in the background. Watch time helps out a lot, and hitting a like button, leaving a comment. So if you guys just enjoy doing these streams with me and you'd like to go be supportive, again, it sounds very repetitive, but I just want to make this clear. Go watch those videos. because one time, take care to you too, brother. One time I had a stream where like 50 people hit the like button during the stream and were commenting saying that they want to help out, and I was like, "Wait, go watch my videos." And I posted a video, and like 15 people watched it, and I was like, "Dang!" So I know you guys don't care to hear me complain, but I'm just saying, um, please go do that if you want to help out. That's all that matters is you guys go watch those if you want to take the time to do that. So, with all that being pushed at you, that's the only salesman crap I'm ever really going to do here. Please, I'm about to hop off here, but before I do, I don't care what belief system you are, or if you're an atheist or whatever, everybody's welcome to join this if you want to, with all the respect in the world. But as a guy who believes in God myself, I always end my prayer, excuse me, I always end my streams with a prayer, just for me and everybody out there. Like I said, I don't give a crap what your dealio is. If you go charging crystals out in the sunlight, if that's your thing, I might not be on that page, but you're welcome here. So if you believe in absolutely nothing, but you just like hanging out, you're free to close your eyes, or if you want to just continue to ask questions real quick to close out the stream while I do this, you're welcome to do that too. But I'm about to pray for y'all, for me, for my family, and that's how I always end these streams, with all due respect. So, with that being said, dear Lord, thank you so much for these awesome people who've come through. I appreciate this beautiful day that I get to have. I appreciate my lovely wife who's in the other room working on her projects, and I just pray for her and the stuff she's doing. I pray that you just guide us and show us our meaning, our value, and the purposes that you intended for all of our lives. If anybody out there is struggling right now, feeling hurt, feeling broken, feeling like they do not have any meaning or value, I just pray that they come to know the same thing that I got to see, that you have opportunities abound waiting for us, and we just got to be the ones with our own free will to make the decisions to follow down the right roads instead of getting in our own way. You've made us to be creative beings, and that's what I'm so grateful for, that we get to share perfumery and so much more art together, God. So I love you, and I thank you for this day and everybody, and I pray for just blessings in these people's lives, and that they come to just know you and know that they have value. So in your name, I lift everything up to you, Lord. I pray for these people and their families. Amen. So thank you guys so much. I appreciate y'all. I mean all the absolute love and respect in this world to each and every one of you. So any last minute questions before we go? If not, and again, you can ask me anything anytime, but if there's anything you want to know, and if not, then I guess we're going to close it out. Amen. Thank you very much. All right, real quick, by the way, not as many people told me what they were wearing today. Is there's anybody who hadn't said yet and you'd like to tell me what fragrances you're wearing today, please do so. I'd love to know. I got real sweaty earlier, so even though I can still smell it on me, it's kind of come off a little, so I'm going to reapply this. I love this. I really do. I cannot believe if Terrence Hughes um, ever talks to me, I will lose my mind. I don't idolize people, but I do. We all have heroes, people we look up to, and that dude is just an incredible perfumer and an incredible, honest creator. And I have so much respect for him. So yeah, if he ever says hey to me, I'll be very happy about that. So if you guys are ever on his channel, don't ever bring me up like in a cringy way or nothing. But if you're ever over there, I'm definitely just like maybe you'll see like his influence and like when you go watch my reviews and stuff. So I'm wearing Never Ending by the House of Oud. I've not smelled that, but that sounds awesome. Very awesome. Is it strong oud forward, or is it more like a different type of note profile? But yeah, I'm gonna actually show you guys my spray routine real fast because a couple people asked me that before. The pulse points, because body heat, that's what it's made to do chemically. Back of the neck, both shoulders, so it doesn't go nose blind in the center, just comes off of you in a very good way. And then because I like to smell myself, I do a little on the wrist too. So koshink, back here, both shoulders. I didn't have to redo that. I'm just showing you guys. And then on the wrist, I love this. This is one of my favorite fragrances in the world these days. I can't believe I finally got to have that. So yeah, just throwing love out there to you guys. I hope you'll have a beautiful rest of your day. What'd you say? I haven't sprayed it, but it's going to be light blue Capri. Awesome choice. Adrian is my name. It's actually Adrian. My name is Eli, and I'm on his account. He just passed away, and I very much enjoy your content. Oh, no, okay. Hey, buddy. Well, definitely, Eli, thank you for being here, my friend. That's the words of my papa when I started wearing cologne. That's awesome. Well, I appreciate you, Daniel, for stopping through here. Thank you, Eli, for stopping through here. My buddy over there, King Sword. I hope you really enjoy Capri and Love today. And what is a great smelling cologne that's vanilla? Oh, yeah, always going to take people back to if you want something luxurious with vanilla qualities. It costs a lot of money, but it's really good. Grand Soir by Maison Francis Kirkjohn. And then Bianco Latte. look up Bianco Latte. Don't worry about Giardini di Toscana. Just look up Bianco Latte, and you're gonna see one of the best vanilla fragrances of all time. Really, really love it. And then if you want a more classic, bright rose, damask rose with vanilla scents going on, and tonka bean, Paco Rabanne 1 million elixir. Um, so I appreciate you guys so very much. I hope you guys have a beautiful rest of your day. Please, like I said, if you want to just support the channel at all I ever ask is you go watch my reviews, any of my videos really. Leave your thoughts. Tell me what you think. And I appreciate y'all so very much. So I'll see you guys later, and I love you.